All right, thanks, guys. Welcome inside the close. 2 hours to go until the markets wrap up for Thursday. Interesting day, to say the least. Back and forth we go. Yesterday, big selling into the close. Today, it would appear, big buying right across the board here. 1.7% for the S&P, 1.75 for the Dow, the NASDAQ, 0.86. The TSX having quite the day here in Toronto as well, 1.8 to the upside. Look at Brazil, almost 3%. It's been a quiet day so far for cryptocurrencies, but interesting movements overall. Coming off of quite the weak showing we saw yesterday. There it is, 1.68 for the S&P currently. As we said, if you joined us earlier this morning, the banks making up a lot of that gain right now. The entire financial sector here in positive territory as we head into the final 2 hours of the session. Industrials not far behind. We're seeing big bounces for all of the travel-related names, including the airlines. You can see Delta, 10% almost at one point for DAL, UAL, AAL here, Alaska, Love as well. Love popped up early on this morning on decent volume. There's Boeing, positive news out of China for Boeing, reinstating the 737 MAX to fly within China. Good news for them. Etsy here standing out in the consumer discretionary group to the downside. Everything else pretty much higher on the day. PVH there as well, 4% in negative territory. It's been the tech sector that's been limiting the overall market. Otherwise, this number would be, I feel anyways, a lot higher. Semiconductors, pretty red right across the board. LRCX, Micron to name a few here. Nvidia standing out there, 2% to the upside. AMAT, 3% to the downside. Everything else, though, in positive territory. We'll quickly show you the NASDAQ here. If I can get this to load, might not even load because we're in positive territory. There we go. PDD, 7% on that Chinese headline. JD.com, 2.4% on China worries as well. We'll talk about that coming up. Zoom having quite the day to the downside as well, 4.5%. Here's all the semiconductors, as I said, pretty negative. NTES over in the communication services, 4%. Baidu as well, another Chinese name, of course. Chatter Wireless, Comcast here having a nice day. There's Moderna, if you're wondering, some of the vaccine names under pressure once again as we get more evidence that Omicron might not be so bad after all. I mean, it's going to spread. There's another case in the U.S. to be expected, but still no severe symptoms being reported whatsoever right across the board, which is good if it's going to have to be a thing. As we do at this time every single day, we're going to jump into a few of the opportunities that we talked about. If you joined us at 8:30 this morning, make sure you join us every morning in the pre-market to discuss what is to come in the when the market opens at 9:30. Sean's going to lead us off here with a review of one of his trades.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is your trade of the day, and you know what? It's going to be Square. We talked about this on the early show, and what a great name this was. And the reason why it was on our radar, and there's a few names like this right now. There's DraftKings, I've been putting in the chat. Yeah, like look at this support level that we have for Square. I mean, is it going to be support? Who knows? But you got to take shots when you look at this. Square falling down, man. Fintech, PayPal, Upstart, PaySafe. A lot of these names just getting absolutely destroyed right now. Global payments. And you could see all the way to the downside. So, hey, you know what? We came in today. We had an up NASDAQ. So we were like, let's try to defend this 190 area, 188, something like that. These bottoms, right? So you got to give a name like Square a little bit of room to breathe, as we like to say on the show. But so we let it sort of open up, and then, you know, in the first candle or so, we get a tester here because it goes right into our 190. That's what we looked at, and boom, it worked. It was great. We actually got that in the pre-market. It was a small position, which allowed us to reload our position later on, and you're going to be able to see where we did that after you look at the chart. So you can see here, nice little move to the upside. We take about, I think it was about $1 early right there. Get out around 191 and change off of a 190 fill. Then boom, comes right back down. This is the trade that I'm looking for. I'm looking to pick up stock after they bottom wick. Stocks I like long, we're trying to find these big wicks and then try to buy them. The same thing on the upside, like right there. This doesn't happen. I think this is a dark print, but if that's a real print there, or if this extends a little bit higher, those are the shorts that I like. So we pick it up here, and what a great pickup that was. Again, in front of 189. And then this is where it really gets exciting for me, because we have a 189 long, and then our next out is right back here where VWAP was at the time, 190.50. That's $1.50. So $1 plus $1.50, then it goes right back up and we get it out at 192. That's a great spot for me. Then it's like, okay, you know, we're ready to rock and roll, and boom, comes right back up. And this is where we start to get out. 195.50. Look, it was some of the pre-market highs that we put in there. Very, very lucky to get those wicks. And then you can see here, look at all of these top wicks. Boom, boom, boom. Those are great short indicators, man. So we should have been short there, but we weren't. We're holding on just in case Square started to take off. But it was a little bit of a volatile session for the NASDAQ. So what does it do? It falls all the way back down, and then we get out on a 193 break. We're long 189 here. So to get out the rest of this at 193, we're pretty happy with that move. And you can see, good thing, it does go back up. So we're like, we missed that move. We're trading lots of names at this point. Then it comes crashing down. Now we're starting to like lick our chops a little bit, waiting to try to get this long. Comes back in, let it develop, let it develop. This is the mistake right here. So we try to take the long. After this, we miss this. Again, looking at a few things. Comes back in, 187.50. We're like, are you kidding me? We're going to now play this off of this bottom. So we take the 187.50 with the 186.50 in mind. We've already made dollars and dollars and dollars on this name. So it comes back in. There it is, cracks 186 and we get out. But again, there's some of these wicks. So we take the long again. We just feel like maybe this was a big candle to the downside, not too much volume. We buy it back, then we get out right there, 188, boom, right back up to view up, out at 190 or so again. So this was one more time, another $3 or $4 win. Look, we put one position and out, then we take two. That's how much we like it. We take it twice here, working off these bottoms. We just believe in the name. We thought that these were too low. You can see the chart there. The NASDAQ started bouncing, so we took the trade. You can check the charts, man. 11 o'clock or so, NASDAQ starts moving back up. We take it. We take, again, a quick, that's 186, out 188.50. That's $2. Boom to the upside. We get it out right near VWAP right there at 190 flat. Pretty happy with another $350 on that trade. Sure, it goes right back up, and right now we're struggling at about 190. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of risk. We do quite well here. We have one mistake right there. We lose the dollar. But as you can see, the loss of a dollar made up by multiple dollars on the winner. So it's Square. It's a crazy one. Love trading this. We'll be back trading more of these names live, tradertv.live every single day.
So much volatility this morning, so much volatility over the past couple of days, which we love, of course, guys. If you're looking for a free resource every single day, we do your homework for you and put it in a nice, neat package, make you a watch list every morning. That's the link to the absolutely free watch list every day. This week brought to you by Manscaped. I was just looking at some of these Chinese names, trying to bounce a little bit here. This was the headline. If you missed it, about 1 o'clock this afternoon, this came out, the U.S. SEC adopting rules that would require U.S.-listed foreign firms to disclose whether they are controlled by a government entity, specifically meaning if Chinese firms are owned even a percentage by the Chinese government, then they're going to have to declare that. Here's NIO. That's what happened. But as I was saying, nice bounces underway here. BABA looking the same. JD.com looking the same. Neil, you were all over a couple of these, but anytime you get, this has kind of been one-sided. I mean, we've talked about DD a couple of times when it comes to the delisting side of things. Now the rest coming into play because of something the SEC is initiating.
Yeah, it just feels like, look, there's always another headline, and that's just the way this seems to be going here. And obviously, DD was the first one with the talk of them possibly getting delisted, and then the structure of that being some speculation that it could be taken private at the IPO price, which would be great, or just simply delisted, and that would not be good. But it actually had a bounce the last couple of days. So if you look at what moved here on this headline, I think because DD had already been under that pressure and made a more outsized move because of its recent headline, Alibaba and NIO bore the brunt here. Now, Alibaba dropped $4 almost instantly on that print. It tried to recover to VWAP. There was a lower high classic short inside of the range. I should have scalped it twice. I did not, then held on for 120 like we were seeing on memes and movers. And here's where it got hairy, because at this same time, this is right at about 123 when there was a bounce off of 120 or like 120 and a quarter, and that's when I covered the trade. At that same moment in NIO, what you were having was, go back to 123, and I can show you, NEO was still falling. So this was NEO still actually falling down and crashing through a fresh low when Alibaba had already recovered. So, thinking to myself, okay, you have a wipeout bottom going on in NIO here. Meanwhile, Baba's already put a recovery, and this should be a good place to go long. But instead of allowing it to capitulate through 35, I let it just briefly go through, and then the second it was back above, just getting to 35. Like, should have let it capitulate. Once it did, the third time through was a charm. It looks, on a 1 minute chart, it looks relatively harmless, but in the heat of the moment, I should have definitely been a little bit more involved and patient, I think I should say, in allowing it to wipe out there. And once it did, it was a good long trade. I actually just scalped it off of a short, off this 35, 65 level, and then just immediately, like right here, just automatically got out. So this is more of a flat trade, sort of shorting inside of this range. If it breaks back up, fair enough, but an unbelievably wild ride. I think it's a lot easier if you, like on that Baba chart I showed you, it's way easier to play a retracement short in the midst of that falling sword and then that rubber band bounce than it is to try to pick a bottom when there's news like that. So thankfully I did have a stop in NEO, so I didn't dig in. I didn't come back into this trade at 35 and allow it to go all the way to 34. It just feels to me, and I still have my Baba shares at 162. I don't even know how much longer I want to hold on to this thing for the long term, because it's getting to that point where what is the point? Like, how long do you have to wait for some of this to subside? And with the values that are out there in the market, it's like anything tied up. It almost feels like a bit of a waste. But you just cannot get away from how ugly it has been for some of these names. And NEO, it just felt like it kept on falling. If this were to get back to VWAP today, I think that would be probably a win for the stock, and even then you'd still be down, almost like 4.5%, or so. So when that's calling it a win, that's not a good look.
Quick couple scalps here. What's up, guys? Quick couple scalps here for DraftKings. You might see that it's the only position I have on board right now. It is DKNG, and we just bought it. I put a tweet out, actually. We can look at that now if we want to, but I don't know. And I was just talking because DraftKings is a name that there's been a lot of talk here from me and I think from a lot of us in the chat and stuff like that, is that we sold at 62, if you remember, because I was just like, you know what, we failed up here, so let's sell some. Very, very lucky. I mean, I wish I could have done this on everything. We're holding the bags on most stuff, but this one was a good one. And then reason why we're trying to get back in at 32. The thing is, this fall is pretty epic, and I'm just wondering if there's more sort of room to go on the downside here. So DraftKings got to be very, very careful with it. I think if you're starting a position now, then you won't be wrong, because this is going to be a long-term play. As far as scalping is concerned, that's what we're doing right now. We just use the same logic. We took a 30.70 bid here. We took a couple ins, then a couple outs. We'll see if we can get that, melt up here into the close and hold a little bit of DKNG. But for right now, that's sort of the story that I have on DraftKings. I got a couple messages there on Twitter saying, hey, are you buying or are you selling this name? And I'm flat on the name, looking to pick some up. But then again, right now, I'm just wondering if into Christmas, if the better plays, like you're seeing Apple hold up here today. Obviously, Microsoft is positive on a day like today. I mean, there's a lot of names that are positive on a day like today, but the higher quality names, if we are worried about inflation, and then you have the variant coming through, and I know we sound like broken records because this is all that everybody's talking about, but the flight to safety, I think, is going to be in high quality. And DraftKings and some of these other names that simply don't make money, I mean, they're kind of the opposite. You're looking for, growth prospects in a raising interest rate environment and an inflation environment. You don't have time to wait. You don't have time to have your money sitting in these stocks waiting for growth, right? And so I think that's why you're getting a huge sell-off. And I think right now on DraftKings, if you have 100% of your portfolio to go, I think you can dip in here. You buy a quarter, you buy 20%, something like that, and you start a position. But I like DraftKings. I like a lot of names, man. I like Palantir at these levels. I like Facebook below. Facebook's at $300 right now, so I think that's a great opportunity. There's a bunch of them that you could buy. I don't know if DraftKings would be my first choice, but it's working so far today.
So much opportunity. It's interesting to see strength coming from other sectors for the first time in a while. I mentioned the banking group was very, very strong, leading all day long. I just pulled up Goldman here, guys. There was a headline there from CoinDesk saying that Goldman, along with other Wall Street banks, exploring Bitcoin-backed loans, according to CoinDesk. So Goldman up 3%, just came off day highs there. It tagged 388, 389, but back at interesting levels. I was spending some time during lunch there looking at XLF even, a nice looking daily chart for something along those lines. But Goldman, nicely strong.
Yeah, I mean, we like looking at XLF because my charts look better when I pull that up.
Yeah, we did that yesterday.
You guys know what that's all about. Whatever it is with our banking daily charts and how ugly they look. I think the bigger thing for these Bitcoin-denominated loans is if you're American, you probably heard some of the stats out there, like 4% of Americans have quit their jobs, left the workforce because of crypto gains. What was it, like over 20%?
Wait a second.
It was also a huge number. It was over 20% of new home down payments are on crypto gains as well. Like, it's this sheer amount of wealth that's been created in the United States is huge. So when you start talking about the ability, without having to sell, without having to convert to fiat or liquidate your positions, to be able to generate capital from that, that's a big deal. So that's why I think that's a bigger story necessarily than the banks getting a bit of a bounce there. But like, it was when I read that thing, it was like 4% of Americans have or know somebody who has left the workforce because of crypto gains. Now that just also tells me that there's
4% know somebody
or have, right? Which it's still a large number.
Because I thought
that's a huge number.
No, it is. It's huge. I don't think it's real. That's how big it is, honestly. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Lucas. Look, I thought that it was less than 10% even, have traded crypto. So that is strange. So that means that it's like half of the people that own crypto in the United States.
And look where your gains have been.
Retired or
but also keep in mind, like it's a bit of a skewed stat because
I feel like it is,
because if you look at the number of people in general who have left, that are young, that have left the workforce for other reasons, right? Like, it includes them. It doesn't mean that you quit your job over it. It also can mean that during COVID you just never came back to work from something you already left. So it is skewed to overstate that, but it's still a large number in that regard. And I do see Vader. Was it Vader that was asking about a Home Depot? I had not looked at Home Depot, and it is a great multi-day level up there around that 411 for a short opportunity. As I say this, of course, Boeing just broke the 200 level to the upside, so I missed that.
There's news right now. India will not ban cryptocurrencies. So, hey, I mean, this goes back and forth, right? Always news, Brendan, about crypto.
Let's talk about one of those. Let's talk about Shiba Inu, guys. It's been a little while since we've explored the ins and outs of Shibcoin. It's been a busy couple of weeks for Shiba Inu holders. Here's a few things you need to know heading into the next couple of weeks here. We talked about the Kraken listing live on the show a couple of times. That caused a bit of a spike to the upside for the coin, but otherwise, what do we need to look at here as far as any kind of catalyst going forward for something like Shiba Inu?
So, I mean, a few things there. Like you talk about like the whale coming in and buying some, and then Kraken listing. You're always gonna get like these news bumps, but especially consider the technicals that went into this. I just have a 4-hour chart because I tend to prefer that, so you can see a little bit further back. But you already had this nice consolidation gearing up, and then look at the spike. Like, this is the spike that we're talking about on the news, and almost all of it sort of retracing back in. So I think a lot of people talk about like timing and trading some of these names, and a lot of times, especially when you get a momentum maker like this, it's kind of like a perfect storm. Like if you just looked at that double or triple bottom, regardless of this news and whether you knew it was coming or not, and just picked some up, and you had like a 0004, whatever you want to call it, and you had that level, fine, you just got yourself a quick 25% return, you bag it, goes right into previous resistance, and then sort of pulls back in here. Now the upside of whales picking up is that essentially, you're more likely to have some holding in that particular case, which can boost the floor a little bit. But it feels to me like this was one of those, the second the news came through, it gave a short-term spike, and then it's already started to come back in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I actually wanted to address that whale concern here because, I mean, the article right here claims, and it's right, and I'm going to show you in a minute why, is that, some whale, Gimli, just bought 24 billion Shibcoins, Shiba Inu, right? Worth 1.1 million US dollars, right? And so you go to whalestats.com and they actually have his complete wallet right here. And this is all public, right? And that's one of the best things about crypto right now, being decentralized. There's a lot of websites where you can just literally just type in the wallet address here on these coins, and you could definitely see what they're holding. And I just want to show you the portfolio heat map right here because this is another cool thing, man. I'm going to check out my holdings on this thing as well. Look at this. So this whale, all right, right now, 100, and I don't know when I don't know if this value is real, but these are the ERC tokens, so they're on the Ethereum network. Who knows if they're holding Bitcoin or anything else? But just this wallet alone right now, $113 million sitting in this wallet. And then he or she or whoever, the foundation, whoever's running this thing must know something about this, because why would you hold, you got Matic there, that's the NFT game. We know Mana is all about the metaverse and a few different ones here. Engine is here as well. And then Ethereum, the big dog, is what they have. I'm assuming they have a similar wallet for Bitcoin, but I mean, you're holding here, one's a risk with Shiba Inu, I guess, right? And then the other one is going to be slow and steady, who knows? But the big dog here with Ethereum. So I believe that someone a little smarter than me here, who has a huge wallet, and I don't know where this money's coming from, but they're definitely holding all this, $60 million worth of this coin. So there has to be something here for Shiba Inu. I love the Kraken listing, and I think that that's definitely one of the reasons why it exploded recently.
That is a huge catalyst, to say the least. Here's one more just to add on to the list, guys. We were talking about the metaverse a little bit. There was also an NDA signed with, quote unquote, a top studio for the development of a metaverse game. So the stories come fast and furious when it comes to Shiba Inu. Where this will end up, we'll have to wait and see, guys. For Shiba Inu, never a dull moment. Let's continue along, guys, talking some stock opportunities maybe this afternoon. There's so many to get through. We should discuss some of the EV makers, because they were kind of put to the back burner until that story about China comes out. NIO kind of takes a bit of a nosedive on that news today. But the rest of them, though, a little bit surprising, I guess.
Yeah, there's been a few sort of surprise moves. I always chuckle when I say surprise moves, like Nikola actually up on the session here. Whoops, there you go. Wants to load up. I was just looking at that HD trade. I know you guys, I like that level a lot, that 411. I'm actually starting to think about if it makes another test at that high one more time, I might get a short in there myself for the day trade. But Nikola, with, believe it or not, we talked about the assignment and this morning about Trevor Milton still having a boatload, but it flushed at the open only to have a quick little rebound, double bottom. It's headed towards that $10 mark. For reasons is about all I can say, and ultimately, like I looked at like the strength GM had today, and I'm like, that makes a ton of sense to me. I look at sort of the inability for Nikola to fall further, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, because one would think in that environment that we're in, where, as Sean mentioned, you're punishing high valuation companies that have not made a dime. Nikola being up, that's a bit of a surprise. So it's the $10 level that's going to be a big one. You can see that floor, which has now been a ceiling. I think there's some resistance there. Obviously, every time it gets remotely close, it's been peeling back a little bit here. So if we get $10 today, Nikola's on my radar for the first time in a little bit, and we'll have a quick look. I still think NIO was crazy. It's just going back into some of these some of the Chinese names, and like NIO. Like I was just in that quick scalp short. It's like, okay, we'll take 20 cents and then we'll lose 15. And then NIO just bouncing right back into VWAP. So like I said, I think it's a big victory if this gets back to VWAP here today. And it more than looks like it will. Like it's $2 right now from the bottom and is continuously marching higher. And this is on the backbone of the market bouncing as well. Just keep in mind, NIO was almost at $40 at 9:40 today. It doesn't seem possible. 40 to 34, back to 36. This is where the action is going to be. It's going to be the Chinese listed names. It's going to be NIO. It's going to be XPeng. That's where the volatility is going to be in the afternoon.
Hells to the yeah, and I want to give a big shout out. Thank you for the kind words. I believe we're the best show on YouTube, and I think we've been like that for a hell of a long time. And let's just get this like thing out of the way. I mean, we'll bring Valeria back on right now, but I'm just going to show you what you can do if you do like the show. Please do this. See this little thumbs up? You just hit it like that. That's it, done. 202 likes with over 3,000 watching pretty soon. Let's get this. I mean, this should at least be 10% of the people watching, right? So if not, let us know in the chats what we could do better, but we're here every single day, which reminds me, I'm off Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So it'll be Arun sitting here. So you'll be able to see some Arun action here the next couple days. So it's been a great run for us, and 2021 coming to an end. But we have over 18.2 million views, something like that. We have over 260,000 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you guys. So let's keep it real and keep it going, guys. Let's have some fun today. What's up, Valeria?
Hey Sean, I like that you brought like a clock back, and actually I see a lot of people on the chat saying that we have so lowered the number of likes than the amount of viewers. So let's change that. Please smash the like button. As Sean said, he will have 2 days off. Let's show him love that he will be missed a lot. So smash the like button, and back to you guys.
Let's just do a backflip right here because we just doubled our likes, Ms. V. We're over 5 bills right now. So thank you so much for that. And if, we love doing the show, Neil. And I mean, and the thing is that, getting those likes from you guys, it's a completely free show. And what we're trying to do, I mean, we would like them to share it. I mean, share it with everybody because it's a growing community. We're all on Twitter. We have the Discord page now as well. Shout out to Trader Proud managing that. So that's been an absolute blast over there on Discord. So have a check out there. We're not going to be on that Discord while the show's running, but it's for after the show. So keep it going. There's some funny memes there. My pets are up on there as well. It's pretty fun. Just a quick talk about Palantir here. We talked about the low growth, or sorry, the low value names, the overvaluation names that don't have any profits or anything like that. Palantir fits the bill. But on a day like today, when you're actively trading, there's lots of opportunity all the time. And you could see, I mean, this exact level came in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, more than that, but all 4 or 5 different opportunities here to buy some of these bottoms. And I think you have to get aggressive. I wasn't doing that. To be honest with you, we're not sitting here trading the same way in the afternoon or while the show's off than we would be now. But these are great levels to pick some up. So, and the same way with the short. I mean, you could almost just park your order here, and close your eyes, and you would have at least got a few fills. And right now, you're just waiting for that top to come through again. So I think you got to be really patient in this environment. We've talked about that. When the market's going nuts, you kind of want to get in and out as much as you can, but I think right now patience will win the day. Let's see what happens into the close, but some very, very exciting names popping through today. Wow, what a day.
Yeah, I think we were saying like get in and out, like take your profits when the market's this type of volatility, unless you really have something by the you-know-whats. Like I'll be sitting in Funware because the shorts worked off that 360 level and DWAC can't get anymore, but AERC, rightfully, and another reason why it's a great community and there's an impetus to grow it, is because I had actually taken AERC off my radar after it popped, and I missed the shorting opportunity when it failed after the reopen. I tried to get the long on the halt, which I haven't done in a little bit, but I couldn't. It wasn't quite fast enough. That was a golden trade. It was a clean dollar right there. And then when it retraced, I kind of missed out on the short, wrote it off once it was below VWAP. But it's still challenging this 19 level, this was a post-halt support that eventually got cracked, like 1880 to 19 even. So I think if it has any chance, obviously it's got to get through there. So I don't know that I like an idea of longing here at 18. Your risk to reward kind of stinks from like 18 to 1850. Like you need it to break out above 19 even, not take profit at that price. And then are you really wrong until it breaks 1650? I'm not sure that you are. So you'd almost want a better price. Like get like 1725 if you wanted to dip buy this thing, as opposed to trying to catch it at this top. I think it's almost a fade off of that 19 area. And then just to come back, because I know I mentioned it like several times, and for anyone that it wasn't following in the chat when several members were asking or talking about Home Depot, I'll look at it here from the 15-minute where it's going to look pretty solid. This is the level they were talking about. The market at the highs, ES trying to break out, but can't get to that 4,600 mark. I mean, the NASDAQ, which doesn't matter as much in this case necessarily, just above that 16,000. But look at Home Depot and look at this 411 level the last couple of sessions. Even throw in a failed breakout at that price. Throw in some resistance a little bit higher at 413. And then look at the daily chart, like pumping up into a lower high, overextending itself from like both the 50 and the 200. And it's been a great breakout, which oddly enough, you guys know I like round numbers. That's a 375 break. Your resistance to the top side is exactly 10% from that point. So a lot of things sort of weighing on this on Home Depot up here, and it looks pretty clean for a short opportunity. I like it in front of 411. It's a pretty tight stop up here, which is another reason that makes it not that bad, because you can get in, you can get out, you can risk $1 on a $400 stock. when your reward can easily be 3 to 4x, I think, for the day trade. So it climbed just a little bit higher. I want to get on this offer around the 410.50. I love the risk to reward here. The market goes booming, and you have a clean out, I think.
All right, I'm just shaking my head here about Home Depot. It's $250 in the summer. It's $400. Boeing, guys, another one. Just saw here back to day highs, just flirting with 201 again, up 6.7%. If you missed it this morning, China clearing the 737 MAX to fly again. So it's had a pretty good day here for Boeing, back to day highs.
Yeah, I love some Boeing action there. We talked about that on the morning show. Obviously, it's on our watch list there. Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for Boeing. I mean, I can't believe it's up 6%. I can because it was down this much the other day, so yesterday. But Boeing, you know, off of some look. I mean, look at this collapse. I guess it was more than 6% yesterday. Downside just all day, man. And then of course they come today with that news, right? So China now okaying the 737 MAX, and so liftoff, man. It dumped down. It would have been a little bit of a hard trade because you get this huge sell-off here, and it doesn't really start going today, obviously until 10 o'clock. So it's a big negative move. I mean, it's not negative because of where we close, but it's a big negative move down because if you're long 198, 197 here off the open, I mean, it touches down to 193 and now starting to take off, breaking that 200 level. So, hey, look, I mean, as obviously, President Biden started speaking here, right here, like at 1:30, and that was when it was 197. He started talking about no lockdowns, kids staying in school, no restrictions, things like that. So that obviously, bodes super well for travel. If there's a lockdown, no one's going anywhere. So I think that rhetoric makes sense for Boeing there, and just upside moves now. And it goes back to that DraftKings tweet that I put out. Like, there's so many names right now. Like, why would you buy? Like, this is at the same level. You just go back, DraftKings over here too, right? Now you have a quality company making money in a monopoly, and Boeing, you could take the same kind of trade here at 190. Obviously, it's not going to have the explosive upside potential that a DraftKings would have, or an Upstart, or a Firm, some of these other names that have been beat down. But at the same time, this is a legacy business that will continue to work, and I like Boeing at these levels. I mean, I can't say that enough. I think you again, another name to nibble in, but there's just so many of them.
And it was a trick. Look, like you said, it was a tricky long this morning, and this was one that was on my radar for a specific entry on the dip buy. And I think it was kind of the reverse of that short, like a failed break of the high of the day kind of thing. That was the notion I put on. I'm putting the 15-minute chart on so you can kind of see. And it worked initially. Like it broke that low of the day, that 195. You made a wick bottom that kind of held up what you would expect to be that next level of support, right around 193.5. Got it when it retook 195. It started to work for a bit of a scalp trade. Then it retested the low, and here's where it got tricky. Should not have re-entered it at 194.50. Should have allowed it to break what was then the low of the day, that low that got put in at 193. And once it does a failed break at that level, then I can get in at a better price, like maybe 193.5, 194, instead of sort of getting right in and around the same level. You almost had to let it flush out once again, and that's what was tricky about the trade. Had a short in front of that 199 and got in and out pretty tight, and then didn't go long 200 on a 200 break, which just for a pure scalp trade, like it should have been low enough hanging fruit because it's like a clean dollar, I think, and that's exactly what you would have gotten. There's still some trouble up here, 202, 203, like I said in the morning, but we liked it for the wipeout or for the dip buy because of that resistance on the breakout. It ended up working out, but it wasn't a very clean trade for me. I did get into that Home Depot, so hopefully this can work. I'll be on the bid in front of 408 and then look down to VWAP here. We have plenty of time. If this was like when we used to do the show for only an hour, you'd have to have a really, really tight profit target. We have 90 minutes for this to work for any of these sort of breakout style trades. And I hope you didn't go long that AERC above VWAP because it's back below.
BlackBerry, guys, just popping up here. I can show you a huge volume spike for BB through day highs here. Big time volume coming in, 5.25% for BlackBerry. I wanted to, if I just flip over to Apple, discuss the fact that this thing's $2.50 or so off the lows this morning and working its way back to green. If you joined us this morning, we were talking about this. Apple saying the demand for iPhone 13 has slowed, so they have informed some of their suppliers they will no longer need as many parts, I guess, for iPhone 13s. But nice bounce here for Apple.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to come at the king, you better come with something more than that, because honestly, like that, I was saying this to Neil, like that kind of news would have absolutely tanked and destroyed a lot of companies. I mean, we've seen that happen numerous times to a lot of different names come through, blaming supply chain, maybe cutting, forecasts, looking at, I mean, the report is that there's people switching to other devices. I mean, that's the worst possible news for Apple, because they are a environment, they want you into their ecosystem, and if people are switching away from it, that cannot be good news. But Apple apparently is like, that's nice, and you can see what it's done here. It opens up all the way down here at 160, actually touches this 158 support that we had back from the 26th, 27th, when we had that major crash, and then back to the upside there, boom, up to 170 yesterday, comes down, touches 158 today, and now we're just right back to where, as if the story didn't even matter. I mean, obviously it's still down today while you have the NASDAQ pumping. So there is a little bit of washout that needs to happen here. But I think it already did happen for Apple. And, the people that had a chance here today to kill this thing, they tried. The charts are going to look a little, I don't want to say misleading, but deceiving here because of some of these wicks that we have, like this one down here to 150. But you could see Apple's just slowly grinding up, man. You had a lot of indecisiveness here off the open, some back and forth, touches that 161, gets hit back down again. But since this afternoon trade, just been straight to the upside. I think that's what we should be expecting here for Apple. Like I said, this name's going to continue to work. I think the flight to high quality is here. I'm going to include Microsoft in that as well. Some people yesterday couldn't believe Microsoft was still positive on the day. It looks like today what's leading the NASDAQ are some of these bigger names, like we keep on talking about, the more beat down ones. So today people, again, leaving Microsoft and leaving Apple alone to go in and try to find value in some of these other names today, like a Roku, like a Starbucks is up, like a Win, like that Win call that we had, guys, today at 78. I mean, hold the beer on that one, guys. We're all the way up now to Win, $82. I mean, this is our long right here, 78. We cover it right there like crazy at 80, but now you're up to 82. So this is all on the sticky note, hashtag sticky note. Find it up there on my Twitter. But, names like Win being bought today, names like PayPal up 4%, PaySafe up 4%, Peloton, BlackBerry now moving, GM, Ford back on the run, Neil. AMD, well, AMD's not up that much. AMC back to 30, up 6%, 5% right now, was up 8. The Chinese names.
In defense of AMD.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just keep in mind, like the chip makers have been under some pressure, relatively speaking, today. So I think that whole sector will probably. It's probably going to get its heyday coming back in like a week or two, I had to guess. But if I had to guess, GM's one that I guess to me, like it's felt like low-hanging fruit. Like if you look at the EV space and then you tell me like if what name that is going to be producing electric vehicles has the best valuation, like and tell me that it hasn't been breaking out or running through highs, and you can actually dig into from a value standpoint, and that's why I liked GM. Sorry, it was a bit of low-hanging fruit. I do like GE as well. We talked about that this morning with Boeing, and they're getting a good discount at 93. I have to jump to what's moving very quickly here. So. It didn't quite come down as far as I anticipated. They broke VWAP and then does not get you down to 17 AERC, but now it's taking out this 19 area. Well, okay, it's 19's on the offer. It's trying to take out this 19 area right now. And if it breaks from there, you got room. You got 20, you got 20 and a half here. Maybe it halts. It only halted one time throughout this move. I know that sounds crazy for this to go from $15 to $18 and then all the way up to like 22, and there was only one volatility halt, but I suppose that is a bit of a worry if it breaks this 19. It hasn't done it yet, but that's going to be that key level. Of course, as I say it, maybe I just jinxed it and AERC doesn't want to go through, but watch for this 19 break when it comes through. I like scalp trades here, so you might see me in and out pretty quickly on a 19 break. Hopefully we get a good fill. I wouldn't chase it forever though.
All right, let's jump over to a few other things to discuss this afternoon, guys. There was a bunch of little ones moving around this morning. One of those was VIR Biotech. There was news yesterday on this, COVID-related. I was back to the downside this morning. Didn't take very long for that to happen. There was also this story, ABUS, back in action again today after a Moderna court ruling went in their favor on a patent issue. So A bunch of small caps to discuss this afternoon as well. There's also obviously PHUN. Still right at the top of my volume board today, 98.9 million right now. CFVI, the other one. Justin, Day Trade, the world's marketing guy, coming up in about 10 minutes. Guys, we're going to talk about some of these crazy movers over the past couple of days.
Yeah, good. We like to hear Justin's opinion on that for sure. And I just want to say what's up to Justin. He said, oh, watch this. Brendan's going to come with ARDX. So I don't know. There is a nice little movement here on some ARDX. And I just want to, if it's everybody's first time here, I don't think it's Justin's. I think he was a member anyways. And it's just, this is, you know, kind of the roles that we're all playing right now. Brendan, I mean, this is why it's the best, you know, in my opinion anyways. You know, we're giving you guys the breaking news. We have all the scanners. Shout out to Trade Ideas as well. I believe Michael Noss on the show tomorrow. And then here you go. So, you know, here's ARDX starting to break through some levels here, taking out the top right there at 163. Now you're starting to push forward on ARDX. This is Artolinks. And I don't know, and this again, so you watch this. I'm going to ask Brendan if there's any sort of breaking news coming through here on ARDX, because he'll definitely get this to us. And again, it's just a lot of movements coming. We've talked about this over and over. I mean, it's what Brendan just mentioned here. Look at this move from 8. I'm thinking this is probably an offering. I mean, I don't know what this news was from, but this is back in July. So this is
Pharma fail?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, that's too huge. This goes all the way back to July. This is a daily chart, but I just wanted to show this because we've been up here before, 185. Now you have to go all the way back to August, so it is what it is. But look at the volume over the last couple of days. So definitely something ramping up here. Most likely, Neil, that would make sense that there's some sort of a pharma, angle here, if anything. So that would make some sense. But right now, ARDX bumping up. I would say look at $2 if there's a level here. If you're long, look for that $2 break.
And I'm guessing because like there's two reasons why stock dropped. Like you see a drop like that, it's like two reasons. It's like single drug bad trial or something like that, lack of approval or setback in that regard, or you just simply have like some kind of a split, reverse split. You see those types of moves. We talked about it being, for me at least, looking at a scalp trade, that 19 break, that's what it is. It's in and out. It goes to 50. It then goes to $20 even. I get out in front of each of those levels, in, out, take your profit and run kind of idea here. So, you know, I didn't want to hold on to it too long. I did think there was 20 and then 20.50 could have chewed through. But the other problem is the volume was good. It just didn't continue. Like on the break, the volume was pretty good, and then immediately just started to slow down. So run to the exits on that one. I don't know if it's done for the day, but like this ARDX starts to move, and it kind of feels like these go it's like one stock to another. And when one starts to slow down, whichever the hot one is, and ARDX was taking out the highs, the volume starts to go over there. And maybe that's the case. I have no idea. But either way, in and out very, very quickly. I guess we should ring the register for that one. I might hold on, like I said, I might hold on to fun for the entire day. I don't intend on doing that in Home Depot. It's only about $1 in the money. I'm going to start taking some off at $1.50 to $2, and then down towards VWAP I think will be a good trade. But ARDX is definitely on my radar. Just keep in mind, even though it's up from $1 to $1.75, like Sean showed you, how far it had fallen to begin with.
The day up about 1% there at 2:30 or so. ARDX, there's nothing new. This was the headline. We talked about it this morning a little bit. They have that IBS treatment they announced. So catching another late afternoon bid here. ESSC, another SPAC that was moving around a little bit earlier this morning. Oh, that's funny. FPE, not PFE, just popping up there as well. I've never even heard of FPE moving around here this afternoon, guys. But Pfizer, obviously positive on some vaccine-related news as well. I don't even think we have this in our system, but apparently it's done 4 million shares so far for FPE. But energy names as well have been pretty active today.
Yeah, FPE.
FPE's on the, looks like it's on the formerly the Amex, or is that right?
Maybe that's why.
That could be it. Yeah, it looks like it's on the Amex. I know that SOPA was moving around, believe it or not. Like, that's been a while for that stock. Only because I see it's Beatrice on here. And again, like, sometimes it's like something that I ain't watching, and it was on the whole page today, SOPA, so I suppose I should have been looking at this because it got off the schneid on a break. And this is very similar to what just happened and what we were just doing over there in AERC, where you get a consolidation, you get a breakout at a level, and then you want to scalp it because there's no, like, the volume isn't exactly trading through. So you take your profit and run when this is happening. The move was this morning when it halted up, gave you the win, just like AERC did, and then it pulls back. And you can get consolidation breaks, you can get dip buys off of levels. You just got to take your profit because the volatility is not really there anymore. Now the volume could continue to pick up. You guys can't see the volume because we're on that look, so I can do this, so it's really extreme. Yeah, unless if the volume kicks up and gets above the nice little blue band that's on your screen, then I think you've got a little something going. But right now, both these names starting to slow down here, like SOPA, yeah, a bit of a bounce. Same thing with AERC. They're just not following through because of the lack of volume and the overall market looking strong. And sometimes that happens. Like the stronger the big names are, the less buyers there are on that same day for some of these small cap runners, and then they don't do as well in the afternoon because the money's going into, the big boys. I don't want to say the better stocks, but I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, better is obviously
it's
subjective, but nothing wrong with that. Maybe higher quality stocks. Okay, right here. So Chevron, you talked about oil a little bit. You're up now 2.49% off of a nice day. It's running here. Although Brendan just said we were up about, 1% or so, but it's running since the close of the oil markets. So that they close at 2:30. It's bumping up a little bit right now. But here's Chevron right now, $112. I mean, you're up to 115. I was just looking at some of these levels here. I don't know why this didn't backfill these days, but 112 has been able to hold. If you look back here on a 1 minute, or sorry, on a 1 day chart, let's go. I see, this might be frozen because everything else changed except for this. Okay, here it comes, gonna load it back up. What a great move this has been. We've missed the oil trade on this show. We don't trade oil enough. We should be trading it a little bit more. I understand that, we understand that. But you know what? Sometimes these big names, they're not as exciting to trade, but I think in a portfolio type of thing, especially us being here in Canada, I mean, there's a lot of oil names. We had Raheem on earlier today from OCI Group to talk about that. And there's a few names that he was giving. He was giving Husky, and I forget the other name, but there was
Synovus.
Was it Synovus? Okay, so and there's lots of names here. In you can take the pipelines. I like Enbridge for myself, but if you just want to get a high quality name, I think Chevron is pretty good, man. I mean, solid dividend. You can see here, does it dip down? Sure, there's lots of opportunities here on this name, but as you zoom out, you'll see it continue to work all year. Obviously, oil's been on a crazy run. I think it's either Goldman. I think it's Goldman has a call for a possible 150 target in, I think it's 2023 for oil, and I think it's up to 125 for 2022, and then bump it up a little bit. It's a very interesting note on that one. So if you are a oil bull, now is the time, I believe, just to get in. You're going through a dip down in crude. We've talked about that, and now maybe it start to ramp up back to the upside here as there's some more uncertainties in the world. So let's wait to see what happens here with crude, but I think Chevron's a nice quality name, and you can trade some Oxy, things like that, if you wanted a little bit more lower price name that you can maybe push a little bit.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, I mean, that interesting call, because I think it's more based on like demand ultimately. Hey, that kind of pricing would be good for obviously renewables, because you increase the price of the pumps, and that's going to be great for EVs in that space, cost comparatively. But I wanted to, we're going to go to Brendan in a quick second. I was going to quickly say it's been a good day for something like an Uber as well. Those reopen plays, I mean, they've been pretty strong. CCL breaking through the highs, AAL breaking through the highs. I was just watching Uber ready to test its high. They only actually pennies away from it at 38.40 rest is the high, about 20 cents away. That's on the move as well. Home Depot, just a couple more prints. Maybe Brendan will give me that, Phil.
No, I won't, but we'll try. As promised, Justin Kozach, Day Trade, the world's marketing guy, back with us once again to discuss a few hot topics from today. As we said, Square joining the Let's Change Our Name bandwagon and is now Block. Justin, what does this mean?
Yeah, so Dorsey doubling down on crypto. I was really trying to find the whole 5 words there that start with D, but couldn't quite make it. But yes, late last night, news broke that Dorsey is renaming the company from Square to Block on the 12th anniversary of Square's launch, no less. So coming out swinging like the old, like the new CEO of Twitter. Dorsey's coming out with this new change. Of course, the company name doesn't actually change until December the 10th. They've got to do some due diligence and get some stuff filed with the SEC, but they will still be trading as SQ. So no change there. Square Crypto, part of their, I think, the crypto side of Square's financial payments business is changing their name to Spiral, but their mission of advancing Bitcoin is going to stay the same. They're also looking at building a hardware wallet. So lots happening there from that perspective. And, it's no secret, Jack loves crypto, and the company has about 200 million invested, with 5% of their cash reserves in Bitcoin. So bullish on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, a couple of key things from that. So December 10th, worth noting, guys, as far as the actual trade is concerned, might end up being a non-event, but we should mark that down. December 10th, again, is when the name change actually takes effect. No change as far as the symbol is concerned. We'll continue to trade as SQ. Remember, our friends at Facebook delaying that change. It was supposed to be December 1st, going to MVRS. They pushed that into Q1 of next year. Let's talk about Uber. I mean, we discussed a little bit this morning what this means overall, but I mean, it kind of feels like they're preparing people for the day when there are no drivers in Ubers.
Right. We talked about this with the Apple Car, for example. You punch up the car and you order it from the Apple Store and it shows up. I think, look, they're certainly preparing for the future of autonomous transportation, and that really is going to be these self-driving cars. So no surprise that they're doing this. A lot of this too comes from drivers having complained in the past. I wasn't able to verify this, but drivers complained in the past of having to essentially eat the cost of getting a ticket if their passenger didn't put on their safety belt. So not always obvious to some folks that you need to buckle up and, safety first. But I think they're doing this just to ensure that, the drivers aren't having to eat the cost of that ticket. So that's, certainly an interesting feature. The part that concerns me a little bit is the audio recording of the call side of things. I think from a privacy perspective, I think some privacy advocates will kind of raise their eyebrow a little bit at that. Now I understand that, they want to avoid, he said, she said kind of situation where each party accuses the other of some misdeed. So that's probably where this is coming from. But I think there's a lot of questions from that perspective. But also this feature, this recording of calls, has been available in the South American market for about 2 years now. So interesting that it's taken this long to get to North American shores, or at least the upper part.
Whether or not, whether or not this is the reason or not, but a nice day we saw there, 6% plus for Uber to the upside. I mean, it's worth mentioning, I think some of these safety measures or new safety measures definitely needed in an industry like this.
For sure. I mean, it's having worked in the on-demand transportation space, these are when you pair people in vehicles and people with a ride, you need to have that transparency and that openness, and creating those tools and those systems to ensure that everybody has a safe experience, I think is very important. So good for them on, for hitting the gas on these new features. Will be interesting to see how this all shakes out. But yeah, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to autonomous transportation and how do we ensure safety for everybody involved.
Headquartered right here on our very own Adelaide Street in Toronto, Rumble Video, kind of surprising everyone, I think, today, talking about going public through a merger with a SPAC, $2.1 billion SPAC deal for Rumble. Interesting timing on this one.
Right. So, right in the heart of Lumberjack Nation, as Sean would say, they're positioning themselves as a they're positioning themselves as a neural video platform and social network, which, for them is kind of a short way of saying that we are a movement that does not stifle, censor, or prevent free speech. So this comes off the backs of some of conservative, that's small c or big C, depending how you look at it, conservative users on Twitter who have long complained that the social network is effectively removing their voice from the discourse of the internet. So not the first time that a company like this has certainly surfaced. Parler was another one until they got knocked off by Amazon and AWS. So listen, I think this is kind of an interesting time. This fight that we see that seems to be brewing between those who have opinions and those who don't want to hear them, I think it's a very, very interesting time when it comes to discourse. Big deal for them. $2.1 billion valuation, certainly nothing to sneeze at, but man, did that ever come out of nowhere. good for them. Seeing great growth. I mean, 1.6 million active users, monthly active average users, Q3 of last year, up to 36 million a year later. So definitely seeing engagement. And listen, having someone like Donald Trump, who's as polarizing and as controversial as he is, having someone like him with his influence on your platform, kind of a bold move, bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it plays off for them. But, the age of bigly tech might be here.
Coincidentally, on the day, or the day after, I guess, we learn of a additional $1 billion pipe deal for Trump Media and Digital World acquisition as well.
So just money, money, money.
More money for the war chest. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy. Great stuff as always. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, headquartered here, guys. I see a couple people talking about this on Adelaide Street here in Toronto for Rumble. Interesting.
I mean, you probably, if you watch the morning show, you probably know how Sean and I feel about that stock. But there was a big move pre-market for it, which was fine. And then thinking that was going to extend into like a DWAC part 2, which is what Twitter was saying. That didn't happen. It's now back at this $11 support where SPACs tend to find some support, and that's what happened. I tried several longs in this one. The only one that was good was in the pre-market that did buy. Everything else absolutely stunk on it. So, and by the way, Brendan, you said no, you're not going to give that good luck fill on Home Depot. Well, I can tell you right now that Home Depot came right in, and that fill 100% came within 5 seconds of us throwing that interview. So as usual, oops, I'm not even on the key. I'm not even on the Brendan Goat. That's all me. I should have been on the Brendan Goat. I can't even find it now. So I guess I will do the power up instead. But we got the fill on, and again, this power up is for the boys in the chat that were pointing out Home Depot. It's like that is a gorgeous looking setup. You looked at it from the daily chart, sort of putting in the lower high. You looked at it from the standpoint of the multi-day 411 level. You looked at it from the higher low resistance for anyone trying to break out at that level. And then it just gives you, on top of that, look, it does not hurt, by the way, if you guys are tracking. And I know some of you are looking at VIX and volatility. So you did have a bit of a move just a quick second ago. I just want to confirm here. Yeah, you did have a bit of a bounce up there in the VIX. It got up a little bit. And then the NASDAQ pulled back in, the market pulled back in, which certainly helps that short. I think if it comes down towards, I don't even think forget about, that VWAP at 407. I'm kind of thinking maybe we can get down to 406 as this market really starts to pull back in. So good level to short and a setup that usually I would be all over, but heck, I didn't see it. I wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't for the community. And sometimes that's what it's all about. It's about getting your eyeballs onto something, right? You can have ideas, you can have setups that you like, but you can't see everything. Not everybody has Brendan, who's going to point out every single thing that moves to us, which you can rely on too much at sometimes. But thank you guys for pointing this one out. It was a good trade. At least it is a good trade so far. And that AERC, scalp. Get in, get out, take your profits when there's not enough volume behind the move. It is now back to that 1750 level. So it looks like it did turn around after all. This looks a heck of a lot better now than was holding at these levels, and I thought it might break out again. But it still hasn't broken that 17, so there's some hope that it could hold up a little bit here. But the volume just dropped off once it had that break. That's why I wanted to quick in and out.
So I'm trying to short the market here because it just dropped. I mean, I don't know if this is going to work. I mean, what's up to Lumberjack Nation? I mean, I'm supporting it, Justin. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, look. Okay, here it goes. We're going to get out of this very, very soon. And the reason why I went short, there we go, we're out. Well, that was easy. Okay, we went short there, the market, but you could see a nice little pop up there. And the reason why was simple. It was just New York claiming to have the most cases for COVID than they've had since January. So that's in a year, basically, the most cases that they've reported to date this year since January. So, but the market goes, okay, and goes up. So that makes sense, not to me, but maybe to everybody else. So there we go. We try to spy short there, does not come through. So there we go, man, all the way to the upside there. Yeah, DraftKings still looking like it's working temporarily anyways right now. Should have reloaded back there. I actually had one waiting down here at exactly 30.57. That didn't come through. Just trying to see if we can defend this 30.50 area, but we'll put another bid around here, 30.80, right where I'm long. I'm already long there. I see some people in the chat saying they're now long with me at that price. So good on you. You're now 23 cents or 5, whatever it is in the money. I don't think we need to be holding anything into this close here today. I'm going to hold on to this. We've already taken out 2/3. We got that nice bump up. It did resist this 31.40 on DraftKings. So, I mean, depending on the amount of shares you have, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. But if your out's going to be right here, you've already got the 1-to-1 right now because you're in the money now 25 cents. So, and your out maybe was going to be 30.50. So already a nice little risk reward for those of you that are with DraftKings with me right now. Good trade there. Good trade on Home Depot.
This ADRX took out the top.
Yeah, 180 right now.
It's at 180, and there is it's not a huge offer, but I mean it's been chewing through some of these levels, and kind of slowly, I guess. Now I'm on that break. You have about like 50, 60,000 shares at $1.80 that's holding this one up, and it's trying to get there. It can't even get to that level. Look, see a refresher there, and like that, this gateway, like that MEMX. When you saw that 10,000 pop in, it pays a good rebate. So a lot of times that's a level, that's day traders that are probably getting out and scalping 10, 20,000 shares for a few pennies. And when you have a lot of traders doing that on the 75 break that are like, they're perfectly happy to just take a couple of $100 and go 75 to 77, 78, 79. That's why some of these moves, like you look at it and it's like, man, you'd think on this volume it would just be churning up when it took out that high of the day. It's because there's a lot of people looking for that shallow profit, and it might have to come back and retest the 75 level. If that holds up, I think it probably does get through. The volume's still pretty good here. And ultimately, it has room to run. I'd be a little bit cautious. If it kind of violently went through 175, if there were too many people trapped in that long. But for now, it looks like it's trying to hold up. You'd want to see some buyers stepping in, which I'm not seeing just yet. I'm still holding that Funware, but DWAC just to keep tabs on it. It did not break this double top 48 level. It's now trending towards the low of the day. If this breaks 46 on that momentum, I'll probably take some fun out. And if this breaks the low of the day, I think I'm just holding this essentially forever. Well, not forever, till the end of the day, till 4. Forever just means 4 o'clock in this particular case. I mean, DWAC is nowhere close yet to breaking what I think would be a monster level at 44.50. You can see on the 15-minute chart. If that goes, it's giving it all back, essentially. It was a big resistance level anyways, and then it's been the support here today. Just watch out. If 44.50 goes, I'm choosing fun because it tends to be a bit of a lagger, which means you have a better reaction. You can watch what's happening in DWAC and then react to it, and that's worked so far today. So that's why I'm trading it, and it's got better liquidity as well.
Just quickly here, I like AMD. I like AMD right here at this 151 level. You're sort of barcoding, coming into something here. Looks like we're going to break 151. I mean, our out right now will be, roughly around 150 quarters. So if we do get that break, that's like 75 cents worth of risk here. We'll see if we can retest some of these highs. We're just going to see if we can play a long run here at the end of the day. Let's see where we go. But I can't believe the market took off there when I saw that news. I mean, 9 minutes ago it came out, and that's basically right here, and it just started to go up. So I guess we're not really too concerned anymore about case numbers, which kind of makes sense. I mean, if the majority, and I don't know what New York City's vaccinated, but I know here in Toronto it's like 87 to 90% fully vaccinated now. So I don't know, who exactly.
What the heck just happened to Virgin Galactic?
If I knew, I'd help you, but I don't. What's it doing?
I don't know. I've been sitting at 15.25 on this stock since Means and Movers was on, looking to short off the high of the day. I'm like, I'll just get some shares in front of 15.50, and then it does this on volume. So yeah, okay. Now I got like a 15.30 short, and it's probably going to be a 20-cent loser because that is a pretty massive volume spike. And seeing as I don't know what just happened, I can't imagine what possible catalyst could be coming through. Obviously, I'd be happy if there was one a little bit earlier than I anticipated as a long-term shareholder. But this is going to be a quick in and out if it breaks 15.50 here. And again, here's just the point. I put this in when it was at these levels here. When it retakes VWAP to the downside, consolidates, holds VWAP, and then breaks out here, that's not I shouldn't be sitting at 25. Like if I'm sitting at a level, it should be everything at 35 to 40, which it's only 5 or 10 cents difference, but it's about managing your orders and managing your trades. So there was no reason for me to sit at a horrible price that I would have liked an hour earlier. I could be already in the money instead of I could be already in the money like 15 cents instead of 10 cents. Brendan, was that
a few people circulating this currently, talking about the ability to secure your place in history once again. So no official announcement that I've seen as far as them taking reservations once again, but this is floating around online, guys.
You know what's really cool though, and I can't believe I forgot to say this. Richard Branson did like a meetup where they tricked somebody into thinking that they were going to be a finalist to get a free shot to go up, and then they were on site, and then they knocked on the woman's door, and you're not going to believe where this person was from, Sean. It was in Antigua. He was in Antigua, and there's literally going to be an Antiguan in space because they're going to get to do a version. By the way, my family's from Antigua, if you hadn't guessed it. So that's pretty cool because obviously West Indian Islands don't have anyone that would go to space. So the first will be an Antiguan. Pretty cool there. And again, like the only reason I showed you, that trade in Virgin Galactic, like, okay, sure, this is going to end up, it spikes up. There was resistance that I was in front of anyway, so it's going to end up potentially working out here for winning trade. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was a good thing, because if I didn't leave that stupid order out there, I could have only had maybe even 40s, right? And then it pops in, gets you in front of resistance, and you're like, yeah, great, we're just going to short the pop. But that's the thing. Like, I don't mind that order when it's here gravitating and gradually moving to the upside. But everything changes when it breaks VWAP. You have to be able to adjust your technical trades. And the last thing you want is to enter a trade on a wick like this, right? Like, I didn't realize something was going on until I was filled at 25. And that's just not a situation you usually want to be in. At the particular time, it looked like that was a weak stock. And yes, okay, fine, it's going to end up working out. They might even go back down to VWAP as they sell this off, back down. But it doesn't mean it's going to be a good idea. The market does love to reward you for making mistakes, right? So it's entirely possible this works out. I don't consider it necessarily a good trade there. And I see it. Jose CL, love OJ's bar on the beach. OJ's is fantastic. I've been there several times. If you go to Antigua, that is definitely you have to eat at OJ's. It's unbelievable. The red snapper is delicious.
Red Snappa, you say. We're going to say everything about AMD, and we're going to spin this one more time. Money, because here we go, man. We're going to watch AMD go to the high side right now. We just took 40 cents on that first fill. Now AMD's starting to run to 35 cents or whatever it was on that first fill. Now we're starting to go. We talked about this 151 breaker 19. Do you read? As it's still going upside here. I still have a 152 target, so we'll get some out at 80 if we can. And then we're back up to the high of the day here on AMD Advanced Micro Devices. Looks like it still wants to keep working for us. And then I loved that a lot of you, I think so anyways, in the chat were talking about this level right there on DraftKings. So again, we'll do this one more time. That's a good idea. And thank you guys for taking that, as well as we're right back to this level. I may just get out now and call it a day on DraftKings. But if this market really wants to rally, I think we got AMD here. So might be a decent name to get out of there. DraftKings right now at this level. Let's see if it takes it out. Win, again, thank you so much. I think we had a super chat there for Win. Yeah, there it was there. 5 British pounds, it looks like. Yeah, you're welcome, man, for the Win call. Keep it up. I will. I'm here. Not here tomorrow. It'll be Arun. So no sticky note or anything tomorrow, but the watch list is here. These guys will be talking about all these names. 82.50 right here on Win. A nice one, man. Long 78 there off the open. We got it out at 80. Silly me, right? But now it's rip upside there. You have a long-term look on some of these plays, guys. Boom. Right up to the upside now with Win. So that is still going and making some moves. So happy with that one. AMD starting to slow down a bit. I'm just wondering about this 3140 here. Let's see it take it out. If it takes it out and we can continue to climb, then at least we have an out right there. But again, like I was saying to many of you, this may be a spot to look to take it out. AMD looks, again, if you just zoom back in here, like we're into this area. So maybe this is the high for AMD. Let's see if the NASDAQ wants to keep going. If you look at the NASDAQ, it's in the same area as AMD right now. So it's trying to struggle to get through. If we could take out the top of the NASDAQ, we've identified 16,000 a few times here for you. So we're at that level right now on the NASDAQ. It looks like AMD may struggle through, but we've already got a piece out here at 35. So we'll let this continue to run higher. This is AMD, a name that we like I like right now anyways. Roku touched 52-week lows today of 207. Roku's just a nasty one.
Florian in the chat here has asked about PaySafe. Sorry, PayPal, not PaySafe.
Yep.
A lot of people asking about PaySafe too, so we're getting mixed up. But anyways, PayPal several times here today. So I think we probably covered this one in the morning show. At least I'm like 99.9% sure that we did. I like both PaySafe and Square. I like Square better if you're going to look to buy Fintech a little bit deeper. It's a great, now I went too far back on the daily. It's a great level on the daily, this 175, which it had the capitulation bottom off of. It's still in a consolidation mode. And here's what you can do when a stock which offers you just, like, you're getting an opportunity. If it comes back to like the 50 period, you're talking from that standpoint about 20%, and you're looking at like 50% to the 200 period moving average. So when you're looking at those types of rebounds, you don't necessarily have to, like, you don't have to have a 180 long. You don't have to have a 185 long. You can let it break out, like allow it to break out at 195 or 200, and sort of be willing, like what Sean was saying, like you get money into the safer names, and that's one thing you can do, and then allow the momentum to work with you when this breaks out, because it is still in this channel. Like, PayPal has not broken out of this channel. Yes, it has made some moves off the bottom. Today is a great move for a day trade. Like, if you caught this bottom from yesterday, even the dip a little bit, closer to 11 o'clock when we first went off air, went to memes and movers, that's a great trade as well. But you are still in this channel. It is not broken it back out yet. And sometimes you can just wait for it to break out. And that's a safer way to get in, because you're in with the momentum. You're then not worried about there being another leg down in the short run there. So that could be a nice way to work. I said it might be so that I can make what probably was a bit of a mistake with the first entry point, and then it still works out on Virgin Galactic, and we can do a bit of a backflip for it. Yes, it's going to turn out. So you get Snap News that takes a stock that's been weak, that goes right into a resistance point, and thank goodness we had a resistance point at 1550, and then it comes back down. Now, it might go all the way to VWAP. I got another bid here at 1511, but I still could have had a much better price if I didn't have that stupid order sitting at 1525, right? So first entry stunk, the second one's gonna be a good one, and overall the trade's gonna end up working out for me unless I really bungle something in the next 10, 15 minutes. But it doesn't mean it couldn't have been better. You can always do better, and in this case, so I should have canceled that order and been ready to lock and load it and go. Home Depot is now close to VWAP, so it's about 2.5 in the money. Looks like we're going to get that move down here. I'm now thinking 406 could be in play.
Yeah, check out NASDAQ right now, starting to crack. So we actually got out of our DraftKings, but we did not get out of our AMD. So AMD now cracking lower and lower and lower here. Let's see what it does. We talked about this 150.25 area. That's exactly where it stopped. I didn't even have the order out. So, I'm not short or not out of this name yet. I just went right to our area, and we didn't have to worry about it. So that was going to be our area of concern. I should have been buying more down there. I don't know. Again, like, this is what I'm talking about with this market. It's very, very, like, finicky. Like, I mean, who knows where we're going to go here? I mean, 1 minute we're ripping to the upside, and then in just a few candles, it's taking that down. So you just bounce right off that 16,000 right now. We're going to continue to hold this. I mean, we got out of our DKNG right here at 14, I believe it was, or 15, whatever that level is, basically right here. We missed that top one more time. At least we talked about it, and the top was there. So we're going to get out of this name now. I don't need to be in anything, especially if I feel like the market's going to the downside. We are in AMD. I like to buy the strong names. And then today, already beating the NASDAQ. NASDAQ up 0.7, AMD 0.93. But here we go. Start to crash city one more time here. The spider's well below, man. And I got to have, a bigger time frame for this, because, like, we get stopped out and now we're like, be hella in the money. But here goes AMD. Looks like we're cracking through 151. 150 maybe. I don't know. I don't see any news here, but the market is coming back pretty hard right now. So maybe there is something, maybe there isn't. But I'm still got to stay with some strong names, and I do like AMD. So let's pick up a little bit more here.
Yeah, I think, obviously you're going to have that possible reversal in the market. It's just, we've been yo-yoing back and forth at 16,000 level. Like, that's all I can say for the NASDAQ. That's what it feels like to me. Someone made a comment in there, and I wanted to sort of, I always apologize, because I know the chat moves pretty fast there. So I'm going to end up missing the name. But it was to the point of saying, I prefer day trading, I prefer trading a firm. And this is not me. This is I'm quoting someone in the chat. I prefer trading a firm and Square to PayPal, and I think that's an important thing for trading. Like, you cannot trade. Like, I probably have traded a few too many symbols today, and then I'm looking back on it. Like, I didn't need to jump into a couple of these ones. It's been in and out. Like, but I traded ABUS a little bit that it wasn't involved in. For the morning part, Snow was like the big one for me, and then we traded some CRM. But within a space, find the name that you like the best, that fits the best for you, and then trade that one. Like, if you trade the airlines better in AAL, then that's fine. You go to AAL. If you like the fintech and you want to trade in a firm, fair enough. Like, you just find something that has the setups that work for you, that has price movement, liquidity, that works, that you feel you can trade comfortably, that you can hold against key levels. I like Affirm for that reason at sometimes, but it's a little bit different for everybody. You have to find your own niche, right? Like, last year when we actually used to trade energy, I would always trade Occidental. And Sean would trade XOM, and it's not like one's better than the other. Well, one company's probably better than the other, XOM, but for the day trade, they're both good. It's just whichever one you have the patterns that works for you, then make sure you jump over to that name. Virgin Galactic still continues to work. And that ARDX, by the way, that's starting to come back in, so the buyers couldn't hold it up at 175. Still has a chance to hold this 165 level, but the volume really starting to taper a little bit.
Okay, guys. Okay, we are.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
And there it is, man. We just talked about it. Buy the best names. And there it is. Do I have the Jordans on? No, I do not. I have the Air Force Ones on today. We'll wear the Jordans tomorrow. I'm not here tomorrow, but we will wear them anyways tomorrow just for you there. Whoever that was. Was that Dan Duval? I don't know who that was. Let me see who that was. Anyways, I'll find that out in a minute. But there it is, man. Yes, sir. Go. Let's go, man. Rain down the money. All we're doing right now is just stacking up this cash as there goes AMD right back through. We talked about defending these levels, and I think that's what we just did. So AMD, boom, boom, boom. Nice wins for us now in the money on AMD off that reload. So boom, that's a good trade for us. Let's see if we can take out. We'll take out another piece up here if we can get it. Maybe even now. What was that wick? 51.15. Let's put an offer right around now. Take another piece out, man. This is a 50-cent win. Like I said, this market seems to be on crack a little bit. So any kind of winners, we'll take it. What's up, B?
Just looking at Nvidia here, guys. Bit of a move to the downside there from 323.5 or so back through 320 on a huge volume spike to the downside. There's this floating around right now. The FTC looking to block Nvidia's acquisition of ARM Holdings. So a heads up on Nvidia.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I'll tell you this right now. Anybody who looks seriously at acquisitions would have told you that Xilinx AMD had a much better chance of going through, which it will, than Nvidia and ARM. And I think there was just probably too many constituencies out there that were against that deal. Ultimately, maybe it's not dead. I didn't necessarily think Nvidia needed this one, but it is a huge and fantastic opportunity for them to get that merger if they could have done it. But the AMD Xilinx is just a way safer play. But as usual, what happens when you get flash news? If you're looking to buy the dip as a day trader, something as simple as where does it try to stall? Like this 319, which was the last level of support that it had, that's where it buries in terms of that trade. It tries to break through. You allow it to get through. Once it recovers, I mean, you could have had a 320 break. You'd have a 319.75, whatever it is. You're in, you're out for like $1 winner. That's the way as a day trader. That's the way to play the flash news, not to try to jump in front of the sword, but to allow it to fail to break down at a key level and immediately take it. You want that crazy wick, and then you want that recovery back in, which gives you a bit of a clean out. Speaking of crazy wicks and stocks that have gone nuts, yes, I saw that CFVI. Some of you pointed it out. It broke 11 even. Probably should have that breakdown trade. I'm in 3 shorts right now as it is, but that breakdown trade was probably pretty gorgeous. It's headed back to the magic SPAC number, $10. So next stop, CFVI, looks like it is going to be that $10. And was joking about that this morning. Like I didn't actually, what I lost the last time on my long, which is like, back at like 12 o'clock or so, I didn't necessarily think it was going to $10 today, but I thought it was maybe going to $10 eventually. And here we are. SPAC giveth, SPAC taketh away pretty quickly.
Yeah, SPAC giveth. Yeah, I hate SPACs. It's just so frustrating sometimes. All right, so we only have AMD, one position to the long. We did get out of our DraftKings there. Let's just check back on that. Yeah, so I mean, it's back to these levels. We got out of that, whatever. We had a third left. Still sucks to pay that low, but AMD, good reload on that one. As now we're starting to rip City. We do have another offer here around 50, so we'll see if we can get that out. And then after that, we hold on to the rest to see what day's high looks like here in that name. Everything else, I mean, I'm not really seeing anything too hot fire here. I know we were on some NEO. We looked at some Alibaba today. But
Home Depot's trying to break VWAP right now. So I know some of you guys are looking at that trade. I want it to break 407 here because the way I kind of see it, if the market can't go up after that recovery and it keeps on resting at those highs, the closer it gets to the imbalances, maybe it gives a little bit back. And that one little push overall in the market, like if the ES drops here, I think that takes Home Depot to that 406. It can't be a loser at this point, so I'm kind of playing with some house money with that Home Depot trade. But again, like I said, it's a setup I love that you probably see me put on in this time a lot of times. It's just I didn't see Home Depot, and thank you guys for pointing that one out there. I'm still looking for DWAC to break 46. If it breaks 46, then Foon should get more fun for me. But 46, there's a buyer down there that seems to want to buy it over and over again. I don't think that'll hold up that long.
Yeah, PHUN. Just looking at Alibaba here, there was, of course, there's always reports now about delisting Chinese companies and things like that. For me, I don't think so. I did sell some Alibaba today at 123, but it doesn't matter. It's right here when that report came out. You know, we're long like $208 or something now, or not before. So that is going to be a big hit for us. But again, it was a position, but you know, it is what it is. We're going to hold on to the rest. It is for a long term, but you know, you don't want anything to get delisted when you're sitting there holding it. Now, I don't think anything's going to get delisted anytime soon, but definitely not positive talk when you hear that, right? So just pay attention to everything, you know, that you read, and make sure that you always got, you know, the truth behind it. You don't want to like make any rash decisions here, selling something just based on some sort of a rumor. But the Alibaba has been in trouble for a very, very long time. And I don't know, it just looks disgusting on a daily chart. Huge falls. This was the best opportunity right there, but I mean, 180 to get out, and that way you'd be like laughing, because then all of your, you know, your 200 would be fine by now, and it wouldn't look so bad. But Alibaba, just in the last 2 weeks or so, has been absolutely crushed. This was November 18th here. We were at 170. Now you're at 120. Like, you know, that's a monster move down for us on Alibaba. So for me, that's a definite step aside on that one now. And, you know, NEO, we didn't trade that yet. Well, I didn't trade it today. I know Neil was throwing some, you know, some orders around on this one. It dipped down to $34. If you look at a daily chart here for NEO, again, you know, right into this level one more time. Like, this is what I mean. We've been recommending Win. We've been recommending DraftKings, a few different names at some of these levels. Disney yesterday at 144. You know, there's a lot of names that are down here. Palantir's down here as well. There's lots of names. And NEO, what a great opportunity that was to buy. If you're able to sit there and take a 34 bid, you're nicely in the money now. I don't know if the story's over for this. Don't think that today, because you're getting a bump up. I mean, this is not a bump up, but just because today the market seems to be a little healthy, I would almost say it's the opposite. Like, let's just see where we close. I'm really hoping that we can close on some of these highs, or at least not on the lows. That'll make me feel a little bit better. But for right now, still a little bit nervous here. And I think NEO is a much better play than Alibaba. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think, well, to me, that depends on your exposure to, I guess, the EV space. Because if you're overexposed to like EVs in general, then you're kind of you're putting two levels of risk into NEO if you choose that for like a Chinese bounce. But yeah, it's just, its chart is about 1,000 times better than Alibaba. But then whose chart isn't 1,000 times better than Alibaba, quite frankly? And I'm like, a lot of times when you're taking shot plays, like things that you're willing to lose, you're willing to lose just about everything you put into it, because you realize it's a speculative gamble, and this one regulatory speculation gamble. It's only like, I know from these 160 levels, it's only about 25% out. It's more about the successive headlines. It's just like if I'm saying to myself, I really do think there's a chance that you could just get this at $100 in a few weeks. Where like that can be the reason to get out. Like maybe it doesn't go there, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's just, it feels like you might want to give up the ghost on this bad boy at some point. 407 just broke, by the way, so I know I wanted VWAP break, and I'm going to go back to the trade because I know this is a trading thing, so I can't always talk about these and go on about them. I wanted a VWAP break in Home Depot. It's actually battling it right now, so at this point, this is going to be about the market following it through, because it's found some support off VWAP. Usually on this type of play, I'm out at VWAP, so I might consider taking this one out in the next 15 minutes if we're not going anywhere. But we're going to go to Sean then.
Come here first. Yeah, I'm going to call Ms. V in a minute. I just want to say, guys, like, you know, how you like some of those trades? The Space trade, the Home Depot trade, the DraftKings trade, the AMD trade. I don't think we've missed here, other than I was short the market there quickly. But some nice plays here. Let's get this. I mean, we got to get to 1,000, right, Ms. V? I mean, 844. Give him hell. Let's go.
Hey Sean, first of all, I want to welcome everyone who joined our channel for the first time. Please subscribe to it and catch us live every day from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. And you're absolutely right, guys. We have 3,400 people watching and 900 likes. Please, let's push them to 1,500. I believe in us. We can do that. We really need your help and support, team. Back to you.
Yes, we can. Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can. We can definitely get that like count going a little higher there. So thank you, Ms. V, for that one. AMD, I don't know if it just went. I think it went there to 30 because I was watching. It's just starting to ramp up again. So looking at that, that's another top right there. That's that wick that I don't like, especially when I'm long. It's a good wick if you're looking to catch a short, but it just busts up there right to this past level and then it hits it down. So what that wick means, and I believe it. I mean, I'm seeing it was real as well on eSignal. So sometimes we chart the dark pools here and it's a little misleading, but right there, that was real. So when you get a dark pool wick or whatever this was, that's real. The momentum dying at past levels, that's never a good sign. So let's wait to see what happens. We'll put another offer right here. Yeah, see there it goes, starting to turn around. So let's put an offer right here about 151. I'm wondering if some of that Nvidia news is crossing forward to this, but like we mentioned, Xilinx is AMD, not ARM. So hopefully there's no, passed on sort of negative, if they can't get it done, maybe I don't know, but whatever. These are all
That shouldn't happen.
No, these are all going to close. I'm not worried about any of these deals, anyways. But 151, I'm going to put another offer right there because we gotta capitalize on something. We still only have 30 minutes to go, but it's not just that. The imbalances come out at 350. Those of you that have been on the show or watching the show know how important those imbalances are. They can affect any one of these stocks. So let's just try to hold our cards a little closer to the chest here. As
And
we get
historically too, this is probably going way too far back, but maybe it doesn't matter anymore. But a lot of times when you have big reversal days, like a day where the market found a big bottom and bounced to the top, or the vice versa, that's when you can see some more activity on the imbalances as well. So that's why we're going to be queuing in on those. Someone just asked in the chat, asking me, I think, because I said Neil 1,000 times, but I think AMC is going to $50. I mean, not really. I can't, ever, I suppose ever it could happen, but in the short term, I can't see any reason. We just failed to hold the 200 period moving average, and obviously it's kind of like also reopened, even though I know fundamentals don't always matter here. It kind of is that, and is getting a bit of a bounce to the downside because of that. But you look at the rally that's come in here today. Right? You've seen CCL breaking out. You've seen it make a double bottom on this flush at 27 even, and it's still in a channel. I don't care how impressive the bounces are in a stock like this. It's like PayPal. Until it breaks out, there's almost nothing to see here for the bigger moves that you're looking for, right? And in the context of the market, trying to find its find its gear after a couple of days of selling that we've had since the taper talk. You want something which is breaking back out or holding, or at least closer to its highs, right? And you're not there with AMC just yet. It probably needs to take out this 31, and even then, it has some room and it has some work to be done. And of course, as I say this, that Home Depot, which I got greedy on. Normally, this setup is all about getting out at VWAP for me, so I'm going to be leaving $1 on the table here. But the market still cannot get past that 16,000 on the NASDAQ. It's because we're not breaking back to the highs. I'm kind of confident I'm going to be able to get this one to flush down in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But I don't want to hold Home Depot past 350. Funware, sure. Virgin Galactic, probably. Home Depot, no.
All right. So Virgin Galactic. Yeah, okay, we already talked about that. I was just seeing if there's any new news on Virgin. Right, there's not. 151, we just got out a little bit there, so we'll punch out AMD here. We have one last piece that we're going to wait to see if we're able to get it out, but boom, 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 boom. Have a quarter left of this, and honestly, I'm not going to give it much back here. If this market wants to dip down at the end of the day, then so be it. We're going to get out if it cracks through here. 150.25. No more averaging in, no more nothing. We're going to be as disciplined as we possibly can here on AMD. So a 150.24 break, and whoopsies, not 1500. I'm just putting in my stop order right now. We'll be out of this name if it breaks through 150.25 on the downside. Someone asked what platform we're using. We're through Daytrade the World. So you can go to daytradetheworld.com and see that website, and it's prop trading. So Neil and I on a prop floor, and if you are interested, like I said, go to the website and check it out. But we don't hold any of our trades overnight or anything like that. That's how it operates. We're flat at the end of every day. So if you're wondering why we get into maybe a little bit of a panic mode here near the end of the day and we're not waiting for huge trades, is because we can't hold overnight. So we got to get out in the next 30 minutes, and then you have the imbalances coming out at 350, which, trust me, when you see them, you will know what we mean by this one. So let's check in on Palantir again. We talked about buying some of these dips numerous times into here. We'll look to see if this tomorrow. What I do is I have a whole bunch of my sticky notes that I keep here, and then I kind of just review them the next morning before we look at different things. So I'm just going to make some notes. Obviously, we had Palantir today on the sticky note to defend 19. That worked beautifully right there off the open. We defended it like crazy. Palantir, one of my top stocks today. It's going to be Square, my number one stock. But as you can see here, defending these 1920s. Hopefully we get an opportunity to do this tomorrow. What's up, Brendo?
My icon system is having an issue, but Bird Global, guys. Bird is the word. 23% just broke $8 there. Huge spike up to 875 for BRDS.
Let me address this, Bradley. Good. So you are with us, Bradley Taylor. That is fantastic. So just swallowed that water a little too fast there. Okay, regroup. Okay, all right, so how do you find the NASDAQ scan key? That's the key. Thank you for asking, Bradley. That is the key that I use for all of my trading, basically, when I'm trying to buy or sell on a break, because it will attack dark pools, right? And so here you go. So you go into your keyboard. And I know I'm going to be really, really quick with this one here, guys. So you go into your keyboard, you go down to drop down NASDAQ here, and then you're just going to pick, where's my NASDAQ buy key? Here's F10. I like it on the keyboard, very, very easy to get. You go buy and then destination in here. There's a bunch. There's market on open, strategies, scan, this and that, but it's right here. It is scan. So right there, there's a save one, which goes for the low cost gateways, but I'm a scan kind of guy. So we'll just go like that, and then redo it. You can actually use that key even on the NYSE as well. So it's a NASDAQ gateway scan key. Talk to your, oh man, what are they called? Trading floor development member. That was my department. I created, well, me and the team created that department. At that time, it was called Go Live Pro. Shout out to my main man, Dimitri, now, who was, the sidekick. Now, was sort of underneath the wing, and now he's the man over there on the trading floor development team. So if you did have any questions about that, Day Trade the World has tons and tons of resources ready for you, including an order guide. So check out your order reference guide, and thank you, Bradley, for that one. Always love helping fellow Day Trade the World members. I've only been here since 2002.
Yeah, sure, certainly. And the only thing I'll add to that is if you do trade with Day Trade, we'll take advantage of the fact that you're going to have multiple route keys. You never know. It pretty much has not happened since I switched to NASDAQ scan, but what happens is there's disconnection with a single gateway. Then you have like another gateway that you can use to execute trades, and your remove liquidity key you want to have. Dominic, I didn't see, if you mentioned birds, shout out to you as always. If you mentioned to look at this one, it's not always an easy thing to catch everything that goes on the chat. So admittedly, we're going to miss things from time to time. So I didn't see when you mentioned birds, but parabolic mover nonetheless. It's come and gone here. Obviously, you already had that high in the daily, which could have been pointed out by Brendan. And it's put in the reversal and chasing a move like this. But unless you're getting, a buyer at $8, which I don't see. I see a 5-cent spread. I see the volume starting to dwindle down. I'm not going to chase this one. I wish I had it. I do have to look at DWAC, if only because I am trading fun, and it has managed to catch a bid off that 46 level, which is enough for me to start saying, ridiculous. I got to start taking this funware. Like it doesn't want to give any more than 10, 15, 20 cents off that 360 level. So it doesn't look like it's going to come in. I'm going to have to start covering funware because DWAC is now barcoding and wants to hold up, which is a good sign for it. Because holding that 44.50 level, certainly key. If you pull up a 15-minute chart, you'll see why on DWAC. And then fun is essentially just going to follow it, right? Like there's not going to be any cratering in funware unless DWAC finds its way down to the low of the day. So going to start covering some more of that. As I watch Home Depot go right back up to 408, should have taken it out at VWAP. It'll still be a winning trade, but left some on the table to be sure.
All right, AMD continuing to fill up those bags, and just make sure when you have a wheelbarrow that not too much falls out, because you got to save some for a rainy day. There goes AMD right now, $1 plus in the money. We were nervous about that on the dip. There's no doubt about that. And look what I said, man. The NASDAQ would do something like this. Now it's right back to day's high right here on the NQs. So it looks like we'll try to close at the high. That's amazing. That's great. That's pretty much exactly what we want to see with momentum through for Fridays. So yeah, good trading here today. I feel like anyways, AMD just trying to take this out. You guys mentioned Square back to VWAP. I mean, wow, look at that. I mean, it's past view up on my 1 minute chart, but wow, what a great move for Square. We were buying this name all day. This is my #1 stock. We talked about it on the trade of the day. We lose $1 on this one, but then, you know, we find some support down at these levels and we just trust our feel, and boom, it goes right back to the upside. Another $4 winner, $6 winner there, and now you're starting to make some moves back to the upside. I didn't reload any of my bags here on Square, my own account, but I'm already starting to lose my voice here. We're already pretty long on Square and PayPal and all that, so nicely done there to the upside for some of these names. And now you're just starting to go. It's funny because yesterday we were all saved by Apple, right? And the NASDAQ was anyways. Even though NASDAQ was still down, it was held up by Apple. And now today, Apple, on some of those worries, supply chain and whatnot, Apple hit down today, but look what it's doing, man. Right back to its day high and looking to take out 165 again. So glad I didn't sell any Apple today. And I said that they would be the key to this whole market. So they couldn't even push Apple down on that news. And of course, what was it? It was just that Bloomberg suggests that the suppliers, that the demand for iPhone 13 is down a little bit. Well, you know what? If you are a supplier and you're leaking that news to Bloomberg, you ain't going to be a supplier no more for Apple. So I don't know whoever did that, but that's not going to be over well, especially if it's not overly true. Apple battling back today, so let's wait to see what happens here for them. But nice little move here for AAPL today, back to the upside. To me, one of the biggest stocks that's been moving today. A lot of you like AT&T, that's up 3 or 4%. Win on a nice move as well. GM, Peloton, PaySafe, PayPal, all nice moves today.
Yeah, there's been lots. But like we talked about Uber, we didn't mention Lyft. A lot of people asking about that. But I mean, Lyft getting the push a little bit stronger right now than certainly Uber, which at times is going to happen. They're up 7%. It's a reopened style play. One that was a good short for me that I wish I had held on to was Snowflake. This is actually broken through, and I just noticed that Snowflake actually made that 360 break eventually. It took all day to do it, which I got to show you the pre-market. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, this is the high of the day break. It got up to like 368. Sometimes when you have an earnings play like this, like it is just all about sort of where it had come from going into earnings. It put such a strong move to the downside that when you made that bounce in the aftermarket, it was tremendous. It was a beat. It wasn't like, I don't know that it absolutely blew things out of the water there, Snowflake, especially if you want to compare two companies. If you look at the numbers and the valuation of Snowflake to like Palantir, it's hard to necessarily justify 15%, except for the context of how far it had dropped into this level. So really all you were doing, as impressive as this is recovering right back to where 2 days ago. 360, 365. So I shorted this. I wish I had shorted 355. I didn't. It ended up being 350. Didn't get the absolute bottom, but Snowflake, monster day, up 15% today, and we haven't even mentioned it once in the afternoon show. Now that it took out the high, certainly worth mentioning. Although this market still can't seem to break past these levels, I kind of wonder if we're not going to get a move out of this tight range that we're in until maybe 350. It'll be like a late day thing. Right now it points towards breaking the top, but it's been back and forth for the last half an hour or so. I feel like we're going to get in 13 and a half minutes when imbalances come out, a definitive push one way or the other.
Yeah, really loving AMD here now. Still taking out new highs right now on AMD for the period anyways. We'll see if it takes out day highs. Coming up, a crypto minute right now quickly. Nice to see my boy Cardano. I mean, I've been buying this up. Those of you that have watched the show, we bought some 159s and we've been buying some 160s as well. Those are just the last two buys that I made. So we'll wait to see where it goes. We did sell some 196s if you remember. And now we're right back into this name. So that was a good one there. We bought some 164s and then 159s. My bad. That's what they were. And then you can see down here, Polygon's another name, Matic, that we've been absolutely loving. So that's another name that we're into. I even love Cardano so much, I trade the Cardano long bull 3 times. Crazy. Like if this thing goes down, I mean, right now, whatever, I have cashed out a little bit. Ethereum right now in the 24 hours is the one that's lagging. But again, they've been the big dog leading recently. So I think Bitcoin can start to pick back up a bit here. I think it'll be Bitcoin's turn to lead for the next little bit and a possible switch from Ethereum into Cardano. Cardano's going to get some DEX up and running right now. They're just testing. And I think that there's some big news coming for Cardano. But again, do your own research as far as crypto is concerned. We had Sam Bankman-Fried on the 25th, 32nd richest man according to Forbes, and he was talking a little bit about Cardano and just saying that no matter which name you like here, whether or not it be Shiba Inu, whether or not it be any of these coins, just make sure they're working on some projects so you just don't sort of get caught, in something that has no catalyst to the upside. We saw Shiba Inu. We actually did something on it today where I don't understand what they're doing for the metaverse, but apparently working on a game for the metaverse. I mean, I don't even know what the heck that is. But anyways, I'm not going to down talk anything that I'm not. I am still in Shiba Inu, but I did sell on the 5 break and I haven't bought back in. So in it small right now. And I do like this crypto coin. That was one of the ones that I've been looking at recently off a nice little dip in the last 7 days. So crypto coin, CRO, another one on my mind. There is on the Discord a cryptocurrency chat. I'm going to try to look at that later on tonight to see what kind of names y'all are thinking about. AMD right now, man, I'm just going to hold this all day now until the close. Let's just dance with the devil here and see where we go. So we're going to go 2 for 2 here. One with AMD, and then where's our DraftKings that we're now? Okay, I thought DraftKings would be way higher now just based on the market being at highs, but it's not. So a little bit of a warning shot fired for me right now on DKNG. Without any further ado, Brendo.
Another little spike here for PLBY back to day highs, 9 and change percent, just broke 38 there on volume again, following the Cardi B news earlier, guys.
That's right, Cardi, yeah, we're gonna be like, I forget the title, ambassador type of whatever.
Cardi B,
yeah, for Playboy. So I forget the title of the role, but you guys can find.
Cardi B is what for Playboy?
There's some kind of a title that she got. Like, Brendan's got the news. I'm sure he can give it to you. Yeah, I forget the name of the title.
That's it, guys. That's it.
There it is. Yeah, creative director creative director in residence. Like, I'm not gonna pretend to know what that means, but it's Cardi, so I guess you're gonna get a bump on that. A few things you guys are pointing out here. Nice move up. Upstart made a move, but Skills as well. That's a stock which is getting off the ground. You're gonna get a lot of these where you've had the. I don't know how you want to put them. We've been using the term like higher valuations, like expensive stock, whatever you want to call them, zero revenue, low revenue, whatever you want to give it, adjective you want to give to them, have had nice bounces today. Skills in particular, getting off this $8 range on the daily chart, anyways. But I look at this the same way I look at like PayPal, the same thing I say about AMC, and a lot of these down the line, right? Like you're not breaking out of the recently put in bottom range, right? Now, PayPal's been in its channel for a little bit longer. Skills has just made that push down through 9 and is now hanging out in this channel. You want them breaking back out. It's good enough. It's good to put in a low. It's better to break out of that bottom end of the range. Putting in the low is good for the day trade. Breaking out of the range is good for the swing in the long term. And you're not broken out of this yet, right? Now, the market might not wait till 350, it seems.
You ain't broke till you're broke. Okay, there goes AMD. Let's go, man. Feeling like Superman here. Like, wow. AMD now taking out these highs, man. Really glad we dumped the market bias we had there on the short. Like most cases in New York since January, market back to day highs. Wow, just very, very interesting dynamics happening right now in the market. Someone said that I got my stuff mixed up there. But what I was saying about vaccinations, obviously, if you have the vaccine, it doesn't mean that you can't get COVID. I mean, that's obvious. You still can get it and be a carrier, and you can still obviously have symptoms. But the fact of the matter is, as far as I know, and the statistics that I'm reading, that if you are indeed vaccinated, then the symptoms hopefully do not lead to hospitalization. Now, I'm not trying to start anything on the chat, but that's what I mean about the reopen, right? I mean, a lot of the problems here in Toronto, and I'm sure it was very, very similar in your city, was that our ICUs were being overrun with patients. And so now that our vaccination rate is sub 87% fully vaccinated, our ICUs are now, can now have patients that are suffering from things other than COVID and or operations and things like that. So that was in reference to the lockdown that President Biden was talking about not happening. So I think that's great. And I assume New York has probably not as high of a vaccination rate, but probably something, hopefully north of 70, but I don't know. So that just means, I guess that's why the market is sort of saying, hold my beer to some of these vaccination statistics.
And someone in the chat there was a talk about like Labatt's this morning, and someone in the chat was saying Labatt's is like the the Budweiser of Canada.
Oh no, it's because I did.
And I was like,
It is though.
I mean,
basically.
I guess it technically is. Molson Canadian, like I think that's a better comparison.
It's
Maybe,
because
I don't
of
know.
this.
But-
it's because of this thing here.
Yeah,
where
it was because
where I
we're
tweeted
we're
out
looking
like
at
last
this.
night. We were Marissa and I last night were at this amazing event in downtown
better
Toronto, and you know we got the kids. Babysitter. I mean, my 19-year-old's in the building, so he's babysitting.
Is he though?
Is he though? Yeah, no, he is not actually right now. He's at a friend's place right now. Apparently, I don't even know. The guy broke his phone. I can't get a hold of him. Funny stories there. But right now, anyways, I asked people what their favorite drinks were. Labatt Blue right here, Gypsy Trader. So if you are here it's, Labatt, it's kind of just like Molson and Labatt are the two big names here, so I guess it would be similar to a Budweiser and then maybe a Pabst or something like that. I don't know, but an iconic brand here in Canada. So that's Labatt Blue. I like Labatt Blue, but I prefer Canadian.
I do as well. Although I'll say this, I'm a big Jays fan, so I go to as many games as I can. And it's oddly enough, the Jays are sponsored by Budweiser, which for a Canadian team, it's a weird look, but it is what it is. DWAC broke 48, so I had to cover Funware. Ended up getting 54. I didn't care. It was like wherever it was when 48 broke, which was going to be my out. It's like I don't want this breaking back up to VWAP and then holding on to that Funware trade. So I am out of that one. I know I'm still in version Galactic somehow. I thought it was headed right down into VWAP, and now it's just consolidating here at 1506. So I don't necessarily want to hold on to this forever. I'm still in the bid in 15. Might just have to take it out in this cluster that we're sitting in right now. One name that I guess we did talk about it, but I don't know if we mentioned it here in the afternoon show. Salesforce, right? Like it was like I did get the long, and it was a winning trade for me buying this little dip. I didn't get the breakout in the morning, but I bought the dip after the break. And this is one that I was probably a day too early. Sort of liking that long trade. I tried to fight it on the first day after the earnings instead of like watching that when the market's coming back in here, bouncing off that 200 period. I like CRM long term. I think they're going to be a fantastic opportunity. This was a good value to be had, but the day trade was tricky, and it's not always the best day trading stock in the world. It is worth noting as we go into tomorrow, this was the big breakdown at 262.5. It's right here with a 262.5 top. I'm kind of hoping that this can be a breakout at that price tomorrow. Nothing's guaranteed. I don't like the break going into the last 15 minutes of the close when the market's been struggling to get through the highs. I think if you want to bet on that break, just go long the market or something. Don't bet on an individual name at resistance necessarily, because imbalances could skew that one as well. But CRM, 3 days in a row is going to be on my radar. Again, of course, that's because they reported.
Okay, so AMD, I said we'd stay in this name all day. And thank you guys for the love on Win, by the way. I mean, it does mean a lot to me there on Win, as it's been a nice, successful journey for us today, talking about buying that 78. So I hope a lot of you can get that one, guys, through for WYNN Win coming through. So it's getting hot in here, says Brad. Brad, how was the Super Chicken? Any Super Chicken on the mind today? No Super Chicken? Nope, no Super Chicken tonight. Okay, so he didn't hit that up. It was chicken breast with some Asian noodles, right? That's what it was today. Asian noodles. Like I don't know why it's called that, but I guess it's because it was Asian flavor. I think it was some sesame up in there.
There definitely was. It was tasty. I try not to have too much pasta because I don't want to put too many carbs on there. That's just me. I'm gonna ring the register, and again, I'll leave about an extra $1 off the table here. Because I could have had 407 on Home Depot. Thought we'd push it down to 406 because the momentum looked pretty good. It rebounds, puts in a lower high at 409. I'll just use that momentum coming back in to get me out. It does feel like the market wants to grind up, so I'm just down to Virgin Galactic and then watching, of course, what happens there with those futures. And look, we'll show you like decisions that are good and decisions that are bad. I decided to trade Funware by proxy of DWAC. DWAC breaks 48, comes right back down. So, that Funware's back to where it was. I could have just been holding on to this into the close in case it flushes, but I elected to take it off. There's no way you can mitigate risk or take profit or pay yourself without foregoing some potential upside. That's just part of the game here, and it looks like maybe these will crater going into the close. We'll see what happens. Boeing, it looks like it's going to end the day pretty strong, and there was one other name that someone in the chat was like, and it was kind of weird to say this because when CFVI got mentioned, I talked about how crap it was and how much only the pre-market trade was good and just stink, break the low of the day. I got out. It then took 11. I then missed an 11 break at that key price to the downside. So I did almost nothing right on this stock today outside of the first position in the pre-market. This did catch a bid at 10, well, in front of $10, but couldn't get back through 11. So it still looks like it is headed towards that dreaded $10 level for that SPAC. I'll be watching that level for sure in tomorrow's action because fun today or active today should be active tomorrow. I don't know if it lasts 3 or 4 days, but hey, this Canadian company, it's in the news, it's in the space that matters. Timing was perfect for them to get a pre-market run based on what happened with DWAC, but it did not last very long at all for CFVI.
No.
Or I guess I call it Rumble, but.
Yeah, Rumble in the jungle there today. Yeah, that was a bad trade for me today. I wish it was a little bit better, but it was not. Okay, we're getting ready for the close here. I just want to tell you quickly, we do have an AMD target. If we break back down below, basically where we just touched, 151.20 or so, we'll get out of that. I don't know where we're going to go here, but that one might be a name here to look for on the downside for AMD, especially with the imbalances coming through. We will have a quick look at those when they do come through here today. The spiders, the NASDAQ, everything, not really at any key levels. I mean, if you are going to short right now, you could play something like this, 1640, something there on an out. But I mean, you're very, very close now on the NASDAQ, to any of these levels. So we're going to watch out for that. We're going to keep an eye out for AMD. I mean, that's the big one for me to see if that's going to come through and hit anywhere. AMD, getting ready to watch that off the the imbalance number coming through. So we definitely will have a look at that. 151, what did I say? 151.20 or so is where I currently have the stop order right now on that one. So let's pay attention to that. We only have 20 seconds now before this comes out, Neil.
Yeah, I'm just covering, I just covered Virgin Galactic because I didn't want to be flat at 350. I'm watching Nvidia here because obviously they got that news. They've been stabilizing at least a little bit since the news of the, I guess more scrutiny on that ARM deal. So it doesn't really look like it's doing much of anything here, but I think because of that catalyst, you might see a little bit of something. 350 just hit, so we'll get the imbalances to you. If you're busy, Sean, I will try to bring it up here. Where you go? I got my, where's mine? Gimme.
They're not really doing anything.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing much action in the overall market. AT&T comes out with 5 million sell, Apple 2 million, grabs a buy, Verizon 1.5. Not too much over a million, but AT&T and Apple leading the way, both sell imbalances on those two.
Yeah, I have Apple, big sell right here as well. We got out of our AMD, so it does come back into the downside there on a collapse here right now. 16,000 getting taken out right now on the NASDAQ. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Watch this. So there's the 1 minute chart. Watch Apple. Let's see what that just did on this move. So I got a bad wick there. It's going to be hard to see, but there it is. The imbalance is coming out 164 all the way down to 163.40 or so. Wow, this is definitely going to be spicy right now on this move to the downside here. So there it is, getting elevated right now as Apple trying to make some of these lows. AT&T's a big time sell. 5 milli on this one. Wow.
It was up nicely today though, right? So
yeah, may not be after this. I'm just joking around. It's 63 million shares, so it should be okay. But there's the drop down, 23.13 all the way to 23 flat there. So yeah, it looks like this market's heading for the south side now. XOM with the sell as well. Intel there. I mean, other than that, there's really no other names that we've been talking about, but the big ones up here, as you could see, pushing down the market.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it could have held on to Home Depot. That would have certainly been. Look at the push right back into VWAP. So we took it out. Didn't want to hold through the imbalances, but certainly that would have worked out because you're now cracking. You're cracking that 16 to the downside here. That's Home Depot. This is the NASDAQ. Cracks back below that 16. You're going to get a failed breakout here, and then you're going to get predominantly sell imbalances overall. So it was definitely a net sell imbalance, and you're going to see it pull back in. That's why sometimes it matters. Those days of reversals can make for big moves right at 350. Microsoft was a sell as well. Some people saying there in the chat. This is why someone's saying like stupid imbalances on Apple or like getting frustrated because an imbalance trade shakes you out of something. That's why I get flat a lot of times, because if you have a thesis about levels on a stock, that can just, all of it, like your entries, your exit points, your support, resistance, can get thrown out the window when at 350, a big buy or sell imbalance just sort of comes off the tape. Like you might as well just bank your profit if you have a chance to do it. I find it's worked for me over the years, so that's what I tend to do. It doesn't necessarily make it right. It's just what my experience tells me has worked for my style of trading. Everyone's got to do their own thing there. It can be frustrating. Like you could be, like imagine you were long on this bounce at VWAP on Home Depot, and it's like just screaming right back into the highs. The market's turning on pretty good. 350 hits and right back. to flat on that trade. And you could have had a great entry point there, and it just doesn't matter once 350 hits. And that could have been a good exit point for you as well. But it is what it is. That's why we show it to you every single day, so that you can gain from that experience, and then hopefully it can help your trades.
What did DraftKings do right here? Let's zoom back out. Yeah, so again, DraftKings actually, you know what? It's okay. We can change our opinion on some of these plays here. Like DraftKings, I don't know. We may be in a spot right now that we're supposed to be buying DraftKings for a little bit of a swing trade or something like that. You guys want to know about a swing? I mean, I think DraftKings could be one of those plays. Like, it didn't even move down there really on that. So I don't know. That was a big move in the NASDAQ. We were at days high. Now we're approaching, we're not anywhere near days low, but we are approaching some of these period lows right now. And although DraftKings looks very similar to NASDAQ, I thought this would have got hit a lot harder than that on the downside there. So if you could see, and again, I'm not going to be into tomorrow or Monday, but if you could see right here, $30, I mean, this may be one of those opportunities that you look back and say, maybe I should have indeed bought something here on DKNG. So I don't know, just watch out for this. Don't know where we're going to go, but DraftKings right here, pretty low right now. So that might be a name that you want to look at because it did hold up pretty nicely right here for DKNG.
Yeah, and one that didn't hold up, and I think someone, we were talking about Affirm, PayPal, Square, that kind of thing before, and I didn't mention that I did mention in the morning that personally I'm waiting for closer to this 105 level. Again, this stock is, for all the recovery that some of these names have had, like Affirm's down 2% on the day, right? You know, Fintech hasn't been as strong as you would have necessarily liked on some of these moves, and there have been better bounces elsewhere. So that's why I think patience can be in. Do you have to wait all the way to the 200 period, which has been a great buying point in some of this pullback? Yeah, I don't think you have to. I think this is a good play on the overall economy in a changing way that people are going to make payments. The other play you can make if you like the traditionals is to go with the credit card companies, but I kind of feel like they're stealing some of the thunder with Affirm. There are a few earnings to get to, so let's go to Brendan at the desk.
Yeah, officially not in earnings season anymore, but a few companies reporting, guys. We'll get back into the swing of things once again as we head into the new year. Obviously getting Q4 earnings, but here is what is on deck for tonight and tomorrow morning.
We're like, Marvel, not the comic.
Pronounced Marvel.
It's Marvel. It's like they're reporting tonight. They're a chip maker as well, so under a little bit of pressure as well. But the bigger ones that you might care about, of course, DocuSign and Asana. Asana is going to be there, so that's been a big mover recently. I tend to think, given what we've seen with some of the chip makers overall, Marvel could be under some pressure. Just noting a few things going into the close. I mean, that NASDAQ is still slightly, it's not, look, it's just not doom and gloom. I'll show you guys. It's still sort of falling back in here after that failure at 16,000, but it's not necessarily, like, we're not dying. We're still up 0.5% on the overall session, but the market coming in when those imbalances turned the day at 350. There's a reason why we highlight on those and sometimes take out positions, don't want to hold through, because you can get a momentum turn when 350 hits, and that's exactly what happened here.
I mean, we'll figure out about the spiders and getting them on the board, but we did take a little bit of a short there into this one, and now we are short. We're $2.50 in the money here on the spiders, but we see what happened. We got taken, we were short, taken out, put this trade back on, and then it came back down, so we didn't make as much money as we could have. This is 359. See, we were thick and short. It bumped up there. We got out, and then we hit the short to the downside. So not paper hands on that one. Wish we did. Still a nice trade for us here coming through. Let's just check out Win. How much did that fall? Not that much, so another good name for us here, WYNN coming through. Oh, let's just take a look at the imbalances quickly for you guys. Here, let's put this on the side so we can have a quick look. You can see, so they're already done. So that Apple trade, that's why we're starting to go back up. I mean, where is Apple? Did I trade Apple today? No, I did not. AAPL, so we'll just call this up here. You can see it's starting to battle back a little bit here as the imbalance is gone now on Apple. So, oops, that's all covered up. Disney changes into a buy, so you may see a nice little spike right there on Disney. So there it is right there, boom, right up there to the upside. So some nice movement happening here as we get ready for the close. Pfizer on a sell. What's Pfizer's price? 55? Okay, so 53 today for Pfizer. So this name, ooh. Why is Pfizer doing this? There's that 55 I was talking about. Okay, that was the high of the day, and then it just got killed off that. So, oh, that's an interesting. You may want to pick up some weakness here in Pfizer.
That's the profit taking to me, man. Like what I thought would have been happening at that 51, 52. But again, Moderna had some pullback as well. And ultimately, if you're going to get the bounce back, we talked about what was going on with I guess some of the COVID scare, and if the travel names are going to come back, I guess it makes sense that the vaccines would pull back. It is a bigger move than I anticipated. I didn't really realize we were down 3% on Pfizer on the session, but it's been moving not like the old Pfizer for quite some time now. So I guess we got to expect these types of things. This used to be a stock that you wouldn't necessarily see moves like this, and since vaccines have been around, it's putting in some outsized moves. I want to note that ARDX, if you're looking at some of those high flyers that made moves in the afternoon, whoops, we'll show you the 1 minute chart here. It caught a bid, couldn't get back to the high of the day. The volume is tapering enough that I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like it has a 4 o'clock move in it. I haven't really seen anything that looks like it does. But ARDX is at least on the radar for the outside possibility that it has one of those in. We don't make those trades because we're flat at the end of the day, which is coming up in 90 seconds. And the North Carolina blue of Ms. V has been good luck here today. I know there was a turnaround in the NASDAQ, but we're still ending the day up when things did at one point, look not necessarily great earlier in the morning.
Yeah, that is for sure. North Carolina, man, come on, stand up. P.D. Pablo. I don't know if anybody knows P.D. Pablo. I mean, that's real old. Yeah, exactly.
It is. Yeah, that is.
I mean, that's probably 20 years old, believe it or not. Okay, here we go, if not more. Doing a swing, Goldman, what's up, Sam? Doing a swing on Disney, Win, and PayPal. I mean, I can't find better names than that. I like all of those talks there. Thanks, only following you, buddy. Hey, man, thanks a lot, Sam there. And yeah, that's just what I think. Let's wait to see what we do here now. I wonder if the NASDAQ has made a bottom with only 30 seconds left to go. We are flat and everything's a jam right now. Loving everything, man. I'm going to miss trading the next couple days, but at the same time, I need to do some Christmas shopping. So big shout out here to everybody today with only 30 seconds to go. Get your orders in. The market is about to close. So with only a few seconds left on the bell, I can see Miss V's over there. So that's always a good sign coming through. And with only now, Neil, 15 seconds to go. We'll look to see what happens here into the close. As there's only 10 seconds left, it looks like it'll be a nice end here. Last little bar.
And I purposefully said Miss V is not wearing Dallas blue because go Saints tonight. Right. 3, 2, and 1 ring at Miss V. Lose, Dallas, lose.
I'm just hoping for, so in our pool, I'm like in one of the last or second last playoff spots. Neil's trying to get in there as well into the playoffs, which, I mean, it's going to be a battle. Is week 15 the last week this year for us? Because it's week 14.
Week 14 is now the last.
So this is week 13 right now.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But
the story is that I have both quarterbacks tonight. So if you're watching, just hope for a low-scoring game.
That's fair.
And I have Amari Cooper. Hopefully he's going to be in the game today.
I have Kamara, but he's obviously not playing.
Yeah, so that's a good advantage for me on that one. But I have Taysom Hill. So we'll see what happens here today.
Maybe go Dallas then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have Dak and Taysom, so we will get some of that rum and eggnog and sit down and watch that. We got our Christmas lights up, so far so good. Okay, Pratt, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, bourbon, throw some bourbon in that hot chocolate. I learned that last night. Hey, Brendan, what's up? Well, let's do this first. Brendan, how was the market?
I think they're hinting, maybe. Let's have a look. Guys, nice reversal day, obviously, off the lows that we saw early on. There's 2%, 2 full percent for the Dow. To the upside, 1.4 we'll call it for the S&P, the NASDAQ, a little bit of a laggard. 3.4 there for Brazil, having a nice day. Bounce back for crude as well, 2.3. So positive numbers, good to see right across the board.
Right here, look, P.D. Pablo used to come on in the car wash I worked at 20 years ago, says
That's
Alan.
awesome.
So I think it's about right, 20 years. And if that song would come on at a car wash, you better watch out because that car wash is about to get turned up right now.
This means the great car wash.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Trader Pratt over there. Next, tomorrow, he may or may not have a super chicken, but he did not have one today. So thank you, Daryl. You too. Have a great day trading tomorrow for everybody. I want to give a big thank you also to Miss V, who's still working really hard there. I just saw her typing some stuff. So thank you to Miss V for that one. Thank you on the ones and twos for Mr. Rob and Lucas. There we go. Yep. Okay. Nice spin around there. We definitely like that.
I love Lucas's face when
Lucas is just like,
he's like,
let's just move on. Thank you to Michael today too. A big help for us as some of our computers.
You can see me. There, you're on camera, Michael.
We're missing power bars today, so there's Michael just over Neil's right shoulder there. But hey, look, a fantastic day today. The trade of the day is going to be square, guys. Have a great day tomorrow. I'd be here if I wasn't forced to take my vacay. It's true. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I remote in or something. We'll figure that out. But
enjoy the day off.
Yeah, I will enjoy it.
Go
but
punish. Well, I shouldn't say it.
We'll see what happens.
Punish Baxter. What are you doing?
Yeah, we'll see what's up with my kid.
Mini phone.
Tomorrow should be a good one. And Brennan and Neil Naroon will be holding down the fort. So that should be lots of fun, guys. All right. With that being said, let's just wrap this thing up. It's 4:03. Stay tuned for the trade of the day. It's been a good one here today. Thanks, Brendan, for all the news. I mean, there's so many stories every single day. I don't know what we do without Brendo. So thank you to everybody. And we will see you tomorrow at 8:30. tradertv.live.
Bye, guys.